Let's get this done. All right.
Hello, Sayuti. Can you hear me loud and clear? I just want to do sound check. Oh, okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
the ultimate. Main technical partner for Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Ventus. Hankook Tire.
From yesterday's gloomy, rainy weather to today's strikingly hot Sunday, nothing stops here down at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. This is the Malaysia Touring Car Championship 2026. You're joined with me, Erin Xiong.
And together with me, Mio Adlan, yes, as what Erin just mentioned, we're definitely feeling the heat. Not just from the weather, but also from what we are anticipating to happen on this sacred track here, that is the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. What we can guarantee you, apa yang kami boleh janjikan kepada anda, 300 kilometers of endurance race across 3 different categories, which are?
We are the MTC, MT2G and MT2V. Now, this is round 3. I know a lot of people, maybe our fans of MTCC, probably wondering, hey Erin, bukannya selalu round 4 baru 300 km endurance race? Yeah, but with this time, we are making things a little interesting. So this is going to be like a surprise 300 km endurance race happening right now across all these 3 categories. The cars are actually preparing to get out on track. But what is another interesting event that is going to be happening down here?
That is going to be happening here. Kalau you all tak tahu lagi, seriously, you all sebenarnya duduk di bawah tempurung. Because why? We've been shouting it day in and day out, months in and months out already, which is the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2026, which will be happening on the 30th of October right up until the 1st of November of this year. So, kalau you all tak beli tiket lagi, what are you waiting for? Go and get your tickets now. And the special thing about this year's edition is that we have a new tribune.
Yes, the Hakim Danish Tribune. For all our Hakim Danish fans, we have specific tickets, specific seatings that you will be able to witness the MotoGP all action pack that will be happening on the 30th of October till the 1st of November. Do grab your tickets on the sepangsircuit.com website, and also for all updates and announcements, where are the seats, you may ask? We've posted all on Sepang Circuit for all socials.
So pastikan, make sure that you guys follow all of our socials, because all of the latest news will be up there. All you have to do is just open up your TikTok or your Instagram
IG.
or your threads even right now. I know that Sepang Circuit thread is quite active right now with something that could happen or could not happen. We haven't gotten the news yet, but yeah, we're just going to leave that aside though. But what's important, as mentioned, today, round number 3 for the 300 km endurance race. Okay?
Yes, we are so ready for this right now. I don't know if 2 other gentlemen are ready.
I
what
don't
do you
know.
think?
Again, every single time we complain panas lah, berpeluh lah, kan.
Hujan
Diorang
lah.
macam very comfortable over there lah, kan. But again, they're there because they are the great at what they're doing. Diorang sangat terror with whatever it is that they're doing on there. Even though it's just talking, but they're very knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable. 2
told.
wonderful gentlemen.
2 wonderful gentlemen, Nick and G. Be knowledgeable.
Actually, funny you should say, are they ready? Because I'm actually not ready today. I either, lost half my voice yesterday with that wonderful TP2000 300-kilometer race, or it's just the, as I said, coming back from China on Friday, but a little bit gravelly, so, a little bit more dramatic. But that's exactly what we're going to be looking for today, isn't it? A dramatic second 300-kilometer race in round 3. As the guys pointed out, it is the first time ever that the 300-kilometer race is at the start of the second season, or the start of the second half of the season, which is round 3 and round 4. And how was the first one for you, Nick?
The MTC, MT2G, MT2V.
No, the TP and TP2000
Oh,
yesterday.
yesterday was amazing. I thought it was such a well-marshaled, well-behaved race because we hardly had any infringements.
no
If I
actually
remember
wasn't.
correctly, there was only one 30-second penalty that was given to Chow Tek Song. But apart from that, it was an immaculate race.
Yep, Chow-
Despite the weather, it threatened her to
Well,
pour
this is exactly what I was talking about. If you look outside
Completely
now,
different
it's an entirely different race. This is what everyone was expecting yesterday. It was very gloomy. There was a lot of rain, a little bit of rain, but a lot of the threat of rain. But there was, I think it was turn 7 and 8 where there was actual water, and that was where Chow Tek Song
I
started
think
his
it was in
nightmare.
the first lap where Chow Tek Song ran into trouble.
And look at that heat haze already. So I'm telling you now, we had a track temperature of 29 degrees yesterday.
Unheard
I
of
think
if you look at today.
It'll be 29 degrees inside that car, basically. It's going to be, I'm guessing 40, 45 at least. It's absolutely sweltering. Not one grey cloud in the sky, which means we could get some very fast lap times for these three categories of car that are in this second 300-kilometer race, which is, of course, MTC, MT2V, and MT2G. Now, where do we stand generally in terms of the championships with all three?
Well, unlike the turbo class category, the MTC and MT2G and MT2V is very much wide open, and it's anyone's game to win this weekend.
So when you say wide open, does that mean that it will come down to round 4? There is going to be a round 4, of course. Double points for this one. So none of those championships can be won or lost with the 30 points. Here, we're looking at them now.
Yeah, so this is just for context. Look at that. At the top, we have Ken Wu, Russell Tan on 50. Just 9 points trailing behind is the Sakudo X, and 5 points back is the Papaya Pay Racing. Despite not finishing 2 races due to engine troubles, they sit in third. And 1 point behind Aaron Lim and Avila Bahar. Perfect weekend in round 2, winning both races. Lai Biseng and Mohammad Faris trails on 24 points. But as you mentioned, Jeff, 30 points.
Yeah,
it
could change
face
everything.
of the MTC.
Now, of course, as we saw yesterday, that's if one of these 5 teams that you can see on the screen actually won the 30 points, and everybody else didn't finish, because it will go down. And as we saw, 24 points.
And this
now,
is
looking,
the
this is
MT2G.
MT2G, right? So Adi Rahimi Rashid and Nayad up top, 52 points. Look at that, 47, 45, 36, and 31. So.
There's nothing separating them.
One,
Barely anything.
One solid win will definitely get you in amongst the pigeons. A double win for the weekend, basically this race, would put you right up at the top of that pack. So Ng Chong Ching in second, Ling Guang Yu and Lu Ka Wai in third, Ethan Sito and Ananton in fourth, and Sun Chupo and On Yue in fifth. Divya Prajan, Arkisha Kiva in...
And this is the MT2V.
Right.
Equally as competitive. It's just that Divyesh and Harkish, they have won numerous times already. So they sit pretty on top, 62 points. But look at that. Look at the second and third and fourth, just separated by 11-point. X-Works in second place. Genevieve and Raja Amirul, they have come to the fore. Did really well in the previous round to sit third on 38 points. Kuras Motorsport, Mark Chu, Kenny Chan on 37. Daniel Rain, Ui, Justin To. Complete your top 5.
Well, I do remember Divyesh, Prajan and Harkish having a great round 2. And, of course, now moving into round 3. Well, yeah.
They have won 3 races already, Divyesh and Harkish. So, but again, it's not like there's a huge gulf in terms of points.
Well, let's just stop there and have a look back for everybody that didn't manage to catch round 2. This is what it looked like. So this is what it looked like today, and I can tell you it was sunny from start to finish, and that was great for the drivers, it was great for the teams. Nice dry track, you can get a lot of traction with those tires. This was probably the biggest incident that happened really early on, and it was completely Fuzzy Island's fault. This was the MTC, the MT2V and G start that happened moments later. Obviously things got a little bit rough and tumble, especially around turns 9 and 10. Very nicely as well. Did get into a couple of scrapes. Oh no, that's not it, but that was the Empire M Racing. And of course, heartbreak for ST Wangan as well. and the new aerodynamics. That's Henrietta Putra getting out of the car that won race 1 in round 1. More shunts at turns 1 and 2, but this 27 car, wow, what can you say? It's 15 points in the bag today. And of course we saw Daniel Renoy and Justin Tiller come through. Look at what happened in turn 1. Everyone going for the inside line, but nothing happened, thankfully. It was a very good run by Ling Guan Yu and Liu Kar-wai early on. But it was really all about these HMRT cars, 26 and 27. This was a little bump at the top of the straight that led to stop and go penalty, I remember. And this was Jonathan Z. What we saw of him, there wasn't much, went around the track and were lapping faster than the rest, the best of the rest, that's right, at the end. So the reliability and performance that they've put on, we did see a full course yellow for the first time in a few days. Mark Darwin was affected during that time, but it's that 27 car in the end, down the back straight, round 15, and through to a checkered flag. Double for the weekend, 30 points. Not a bad run out. So there you go. It's a little recap for you for round 2, race 1 and race 2. Of course, that's the usual race round weekend in the MTCC. 2 races, one on one day, one on the other day. Just for round 3, we have, of course, the 300-kilometer race, which is it's actually a bit more than 2 races put together, and it is an entirely different predicament. Right, well, as we were saying, this is a different proposition, Nick, the 300-kilometer race, from having the usual race round weekends of one on Saturday and one on Sunday, because, of course, you can get to your car in between the 2 races.
Yes, 2 compulsory 5 minutes pit stops that will allow for refueling, and more importantly, or as importantly, driver change. We saw how the driver change worked in the favor of a number of teams yesterday, and especially for the likes of Jonathan Z, who took that break to have a much needed breather, and when he came out, he just posted a fastest lap time. So these two pits of 5 minutes each really sort of changes the game, and it comes in different phases of this 300-kilometer race. It will take place from laps 15 to 42, and with this race, most teams are a 2-man team. We are going to see a change in perhaps tactics, change in strategy.
Also, remember yesterday's race had 7 cars on track, and you know, that leads to a lot of space, a lot of time, and a lot of options in terms of your strategy. We have a much bigger grid, as I was saying, and that is going to lead to a lot of possible situations on track.
Yes, surely. I think why it was such a clean race, we did not see much bumps, much shunts, much jostling for positions, was because 7 competitors had the track pretty much to themselves.
They did something else. They didn't do that, that's true, but what they did do was match themselves for pace throughout the entire race, and it was a really fast pace as well.
They had more chances to showcase their driving skills, their capabilities. Here, we're not going to see much of that because there's going to be too much traffic. 33 cars on track.
That's true. But also, from that situation where they were all mimicking each other's pace throughout from the start to the finish. Basically, we also saw the last place guy in the pack put on a lap time which was as fast as the leader.
Yes, that's right. Muhammad Hafiz Kamarudin in 5th place, but posting the fastest lap. That was a unique situation for us. We had never seen that before.
Yeah, I know.
And it was so refreshing to see.
It meant that anyone in that pack of 7, and they were spread out, of course, around the track, could have easily won it had the circumstances been different. And that's what we have to talk about with the Scuba Racing team, Johnny Z, which we will do. But right now we're getting down to the car itself, and car 208. That's Kenwu and Russell Tan with the guys.
All right, guys, now I'm together down here at the track. We're about to start. We're going to be speaking to the driver of the car 208. His partner is right outside here. We have Russell Tan together with us. Russell, it is a hot day, man. How are you doing?
It is hot. It's very hot.
It's very hot. As usual. But again, round 3, 300 km endurance race. You together with Ken. Any specific strategies down here for the MTC class? How is it going to be out there in comparison? Yesterday it was quite damp and rainy, wet, but now it's like freaking hot, man.
Hopefully we can keep it cool. I think that's the only thing we can do right now. Pray for good weather.
Okay, of course, but when it comes to the tyres, we've seen prior rounds, round 1, round 2, it's all about tyre management, of course, with our partners from Hankook. But of course, you cannot be too aggressive, but then again, you have some chasing to do in front of you, man.
The chasing, right, I think we'll leave the chasing to the much later stage. Right now, I think it's about tyre preservation at the moment.
All right, and what is the pace that you're looking at least for the first 5-6 laps?
I would say maybe 1 second off the qualifying time.
Okay, all right. So we do hope that you together with Ken can bring it up, okay? We'll see you hopefully in the next 2.5 hours.
Right.
Have a good one, man. All right, Jens, back to you.
Well, he had a great outing yesterday. I mean, why wouldn't he have a great outing here? You know, as I said, tyre preservation was what was brought up in that interview. Yesterday, it was about something completely different in terms of the racing line and the moisture on track. But yeah, these tyres are going to shred in this heat.
Yeah, Kenwu and Russell Tan have really impressed me this season. They're making their debut in the MTCC. And for them, I think it was just all about really testing their grounds among some of these most senior, experienced competitors.
Yeah.
But the stats don't lie, Jeff. Even though this was new to them, this is a new battleground for them, they have ended on the podium a total 4 times out of 5 races.
Yeah,
and all they did was just stay in the game, stay in the race, be present, ensure that the car did enough to cross the finish line.
Sometimes you get a natural intuition into how competitions evolve and work. And when you see that happen, Adi Rahimi Rashid is a classic example of that. Hit the ground running is essentially the term. But yeah, we're going to go back down to the grid now. It's car 71 that's talking to the guys.
Car number 71 right here on the tracks as we gear up for the MT2G round 3 category 300 km endurance race. Hi, Zafran. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the race? Do you think, is it a solo race for you today?
No, I have pairing with Avik. So yeah, I will start the race and then he will drive second. Yeah.
Okay. How has the race been for you so far? Are you confident about today's race? Do you think it will be difficult for you to get ahead, or you have a strategy in play right now?
Yeah, I think we can manage to get to the first position because also we have a good qualifying yesterday, but I got track limits, so we just got dropped into P3. So I think we have the pace to fight with the front guys. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Now, of course, the weather is certainly different from what we had yesterday. We had a wet race yesterday, and today is a very dry race indeed. Which is your specialty, would you say?
Sorry?
Would you say you prefer more of a wet track or a dry track?
Anything. I can do both.
You can do both.
Yeah.
You can do both. Okay, that is something that not a lot of drivers actually would say. But I can't wait to see you out on the tracks. Good luck to you as well. This is going to be the most points that we'll be taking for this rounds. Good luck to you. Any last advice for any of our fans or drivers?
So yeah, everyone, just play safe. We have a long race.
Amazing, lovely. Good luck to you out there. Back to Nick and G.
Thanks, guys. Yes, indeed. I mean, it is about, with this amount of competitors on the grid, safety is going to be paramount for sure. In these conditions where you can get really fast lap times as well going. We saw some fast laps yesterday considering, oh, hi, hello, grid girls.
Yeah, speaking of fast laps, it just reminded me to Jonathan Z. Right after he came off the blocks from his pit, he posted a 2:24.
Yeah, that's right.
Identical to 2:24s in two post pits.
That's right. There were two pit windows in this race. Now, looking at the circuit, well, it is the full course, north and south course, and well, how do you sum it up? It's very tricky at 1 and 2. It gets a bit faster, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 7, 8, and 9 are fast. 10 and 11 to all the way up to 14, very tight. And then, of course, those two big straights, the signature straights at 927 meters each, start and finish. Wonderful track. Of course, it's been in operation now for decades. 31 degrees. I actually expected it to be more than that. It was 29 degrees yesterday.
I thought 41, like you mentioned, was more accurate, but
well, yeah,
it is what it is. 31, it's still extremely hot. 31 is just an indication of
actually,
how hot
to be
it
honest, if the race start was at 11 o'clock today or 12 o'clock, it would probably be about 40 on 40. But we are in the late in the afternoon or early in the afternoon. So that's it. But still, 31 is going to, as we said, put a great amount of pressure on tires for this 54-lap race. And on top of that, it's the sun, it's the direct sun onto the cars, which we only saw a couple of times yesterday when it broke through the clouds, is also going to be in these cars are going to keep their heating as one of the major concerns.
Yes, the timing of this race as compared to yesterday, I think that will also play a big part because like you mentioned earlier, that happened towards the late morning and now we are right smack in the middle of the day where temperatures are at its optimum. So it can affect not just the car, not just the tire, not just the engine, but the psychology of the drivers themselves. This heat is a different kind of animal to contend with. And it's going to take a toll on all 34 teams.
And especially, I would have thought the 7 or even 14, and probably about, in the end, 12 drivers that took part in yesterday's TP 2000.
Case in point, this guy's teammate, Hendra Putra's teammate, Fadzil Alang.
You know, they would have thought yesterday was hot. We actually saw Jonathan Z still getting, cooling sessions when in between the
warm
pits.
down sessions, yeah.
So imagine what he's going to get today. Imagine what they're all going to get today. Hopefully, as I said, we have a safe race and more importantly, a safe start as well. It looks like it's going to be one wave of starts for the 34 cars. That's actually pushing it. Usually, if it starts getting really big, we've seen it with 67 and the 71 cars, there'll be a split start. But it looks like all three classes, MTC, MT2G, and MT2V, are going to be starting from the same grid. Now that, by the way, is going to be happening in under a couple of minutes. It looks like we're at the 2-minute board. All the extra personnel have left the grid. In fact, even the key personnel are leaving now, so it's just the drivers and the cars and the starting officials. So it should be, yeah, there you go. It's 1 minute.
If the first two races was any indication of what we're going to see today is battles all over the track, especially in the MT2G that has never short of excitement because we always saw at least 3 or 4 cars. And I can even tell you the likes of Ng Chon Chin, Freddie Ang, Mark Darwin, Luke Anton, Ling Guang Yu, Eddie Liu. These guys will be added. The usual suspects. And so even if the battle at the top is not as exciting because one guy has pulled away, we have a runaway leader, you can be assured that there will be battles all over the track happening here.
I was actually going to say that lead for Divyash, Prajan, and Hakish is actually significant, remarkable, and worth mentioning because, you know, to pull that off halfway through the season is pretty dominant.
Yeah, to win 3 races out of 5, who would bet against them to not go and claim this championship?
As I said, the word dominant to be used halfway through a season shows that they have literally got everything right. Whether they had a couple of mistakes or a couple of trials and tribulations, that is because we've seen the DV Motorsport team in the last few years. That means leaps and bounds. Fantastic to see because those tiny bits. It doesn't have the evolution of F1 and the rest of it, because there's no budgets, there's no millions of dollars in budgets.
You speak a lot about F1, Jeff. I think you're manifesting that the race come back.
Well, just
it
in
is the
case,
in
hey,
topic.
you know, I just want to make sure that everybody's up to speed, just in case, for some whatever reason, it might come back to, you know, this great track. Who knows? But, we'll let you know. But of course, that's if it happens in the next 2 hours.
Yeah, the just going back to your point.
It was actually a split start in the end.
Yeah, I think this will be the MT2G and MT2V.
Well, I did say I thought it was a bit odd that they would start 34 cars at once. So good to see that is still in effect. But I wonder what the cutoff is. Probably 15. It's probably 15. Yeah. So here is the starting grid. Aaron Lim and Avir Blaha, followed by Lai Wei Singh and Faris Fauzi, Fazil Alang, Hendra Adaputra, and Fuyang Chia and Ye Kok Jun take us up to 4th.
We have Kenwu Russell Tan in 5th, Limi Jiok, Ang Ti House in 6th, Bay Racing in 7th, the young team of Nizar Racing in 8th.
With the much vaunted Ananthon. In 9th, Tawad Anwar and partner Jonathan Z in 10th, fresh from his crown yesterday. Ng Chong Ching in 11th, and Mark Darwin with Luke Anton Neto in 12th.
Ling Guang Yu, Eddie Liu in 13th place, P. Sao Fan, So Chi Chong in 14th, James Russell, Adi Rahimi in 15th, and R Engineering in 16th. And we have Parajon and Brandel in 17th. Our runaway leaders in the MT2V in 18th spot, Chan Kapeng, Tang Yu Cheng in 19th, and Skiron Racing Team in your top 20.
Mark Chu in 21st, Daniel Renui and Justin Tur in 22nd, Gilbert Ang and Lo Ken Jud in 23rd, and Yu Yonlung Brian and Kudat Yong in 24th.
Shazul Hisham Shahrizal in 25th, the 91R Racing Team in 26th, Lee Chiwa Lestelian in 27th, KGIA Racing Team in 28th.
And on we go, and this is what I mean about a big grid. Alvin Tone, Justin Yap 29th, Genevieve Uy and Raja Amirul in 30th, Chong Kiat Wai and Chong Ryu in 31st, and Wen Chi Wei and Ong Yi Wei in 35th.
And completing our classifications are the Motel Art in 33rd and the Morgan team in 34th place.
34 cars all ready for action, 34 cars that have the opportunity to bump into each other over the next
we're going to see
laps.
much more action compared to yesterday. There
were
a lot of solitary driving yesterday.
Race control is going to be a much busier place, let's put it that way, with all these cars in action. And they got quite busy near the end of the race yesterday. But apart from Chong, there wasn't a
yeah, apart from that 30-second penalty, it was a clean race. There were a couple of final warnings, but apart from that...
If you played that on Gran Turismo 7, it would say clean race bonus. You get like 60,000 bucks for doing that. Motorsports fans, of course, are very familiar with that game. It's one of the best games, one of the ones I'm playing at the moment as well. Right, here we go. It looks like we're not going to have another formation lap. So MTC are about to hit the road in terms of 54 laps. That's actually been considered the first lap anyway. Lights turn green and they're off. And a very civilized approach to turn 1 with just the 6 cars.
The informed team car number 27, back-to-back wins in round 2, already looking to set the pace early on.
Well, grab the racing
line.
line.
Look at that. That was a bump from the Papaya Pay.
27 grabbed the racing line early on and started dictating the way.
Just off turn 1, coming into turn 2. That was Hendra Adiputra, a little naughty for him.
I was
not
saying,
intended. I'm sure it was not intended.
I was saying that, these cars, yesterday I said it, they're not 100% going to catch the racing line. They're going to swing out based on gravity, based on the chassis that they have. So that looks like a little kiss, almost like snooker balls. You know what I mean? It just can't be stopped.
And he's gone wide. Quite a rough start for Hendra, I have to say.
I think Hendra's pushing a little bit too much to start off with, but we did see yesterday Johnny Z push off at a much faster rate from the rest of the crew, who were kicking. In fact, they were about 7 seconds back off the start, but they caught up later on. Well, longer strategies can be played out the longer the endurance race is.
MT2G and MT2V.
Yeah, and V made a deafening roar past our commentary box as they make it to turn 1. Now this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, especially coming into turn 1. You see everyone looking to hug on the inside line and try and get the best possible position.
I salute the guys at the back that hold back just to see what's happened, because so many incidents have happened. Look how close they are coming out of turn 2.
They're glued together almost.
It's just a vicious switchback 1 to 2 for any class of car. And look at that, we've really got somebody off the track. Controlled well on turn 3. And that's turn 4, so coming up to turn 5
You know what, Jeef?
now.
I'm so happy to see car number 71. That's the Bangladesh Scuba Race team. And a racer that's familiar to us, Tawid Anwar.
Yes.
Who we
right.
haven't seen much.
We've seen much of him.
We've seen him in spades. And this season, in fact, also, he's not gotten off the mark. Really, in fact, hardly picked up any points. So
Johnny Z actually had a season like this. Johnny Z had a season like this.
Only 2 points. Only 2 points from the Scuba Race team, car number 71 so far.
Yeah, that sounds
so
like
if there is a race to pick up points, this is it.
That's true. You know, you can consolidate a little bit, I guess, but this race, from what we saw yesterday, is going to be broken up into 3, maybe 4 stages. The first to the pit window, one after the pit window, the one to the next pit window, and the one after the pit window, which is going to be the close of the race. So, you know, we saw yesterday Johnny Z was maintaining a 13 to 16 second lead for each of those first 3 phases, not official, but parts of the race. And that's kind of the general, how you're going to generally do it. You can't, off the start, predict where you're going to be in 54 laps.
Yeah, because anything could happen in the course of that 54 laps.
Now,
but I have to say that the car setting and the car approach from all teams was absolutely spot on yesterday, because we did not see any vehicle stall, we did not see any major car trouble. It was a testament to all teams on how they actually prepared.
Well, they certainly whipped the, you know, reliability problem. Of all the problems that get put in front of you, reliability was not one of them. And as I said, even Chong's number 11 car, it wasn't reliability. You know, he skidded out on the tires on the moisture, and that kind of dominoed into all the other problems he had before he got the 30-second penalty. But would have finished had he not been so deep in the gravel. He really was.
Speaking of looking to finish on top, we have our pace setters already, Avila Baha and Aaron Lim.
I was just about to say, now, with 52 laps to go, we can start to get an idea of, you know, we have a lot of numbers and a lot of names ahead of us on our tallying screen, but we can tell you, Avila Baha and Aaron Lim, 2:33.736 is where we are starting the fastest lap benchmark. And that's pretty good.
It's a good time to start, 2:33.
There's only one car on 2:34.
And like we were talking about earlier as well, the starting procedure is also under investigation, I presume.
You know what?
For Hendra Adiputra.
I think for any of these grids that are over 30 cars, it gets under
It's bound to
investigation,
happen, right?
Because it's just...
And there we have it, confirmation. Lap 2, turn 2, and turn 9 incident are being reviewed.
Yeah, that's right. Lap 2, turn 2, yeah, that's right. That's off the switchback when the car went off. And turn 9 is going up the hill.
Yeah.
2:32.524. So we've, it's like an auction. We've upped the fastest lap to 2:32.524, but it is the same pair that's done it, which is
They just outdid their fastest lap time. No surprise, really. The HMRT team only came into contention this season from round 2, but they've made an instant impact.
And you know, that's not just the car. It's not just the engine. It's the entire team. They work very well. They've worked very efficiently, and they set their standard. Oh, that's another car that's off the grey stuff. So we've already seen more incidents in this 300-kilometer race than we did in the entire 300-kilometer race yesterday.
Exactly. I mean, it was expected with a 34-car field. We are going to see
But these
drivers.
diesel hatchbacks as well, as I said, you know, continuing on that point of how the entire field can't really 100% stick onto the racing line. Diesel hatchbacks have a nightmare time trying to do that, especially when they're in packs of 5, you know, like little shoals going around the corners. Because it crowds up the racing line, it scares other drivers into either braking early or braking late. And that can greatly, with 5 cars like on this situation right now on your screen, vying for, you know, one spot on the racing line, the optimal spot. Yeah, it's dangerous for an entirely different reason. You know, it's.
And you have to keep your wits about you.
You have to keep your wits about you.
For the course of 3 hours, because even as something as minor as a small kiss could end up in an investigation, could end up in a potential penalty.
But will most likely end up in about 6 rolls of duct tape, which they will put onto the car, and
essentially that will happen after that.
It will look just like a big ball.
I think
of
what
duct
will
tape.
hurt more is the seconds deduction that might happen.
Yeah, I've obviously never had one. I mean, I've only been on a racetrack once, which was in an F4. It was actually really cool, but you know, I didn't break any rules. But yes, I can imagine that if your prime objective is to get a fastest time, anything to do with 30 seconds stopped or 60 seconds, you know, off or after the race, or having to slow down for the pit lane is not welcome. It's just that you'd rather not.
You'd rather not, yeah, definitely. No such issues
in the same way, I've never actually seen any team, including our engineering and HMRT, have a race which was perfect, where they didn't have a single one.
I remember HMRT, they had 2 huge duct tapes just barely clinging on the front portion of the car, the front bumper, but still essentially managing to cross the finish line and end up on the podium.
By the way, duct tape is probably the only ingredient in motorsports that has lasted through every single class, even the way up to F1.
Such a priceless and durable component it is.
What a great idea. You know, it's up there with scissors. What a great idea. Now, hopefully, great ideas is what this group of cars is going to be executing over the next 10 laps, because, as I said, 4 different parts to this race. So really, what you want to do is be on your best for the end of those 10 laps, because it'll end in pit windows or out laps.
Just to give you some updates on the classifications. In the MTC, we have a HMRT 1-2 currently. Avila Baha, Aaron Lim holding a 1.6 second advantage over Lai Wei Seng, Mohammad Faris. And in the MT2G, Sun Chi Po, Aun Yuen Wei of Bay Racing, they are currently 3 seconds ahead of the team from Bangladesh in second place. Jonathan Z Kwek Kian Wee currently hogging that 3rd spot. And in the MT2V, surprise, surprise, it's Divyesh and Harkish Giva of Team DV Motorsport currently in top spot. Daniel, or rather Parajun and Brandon Paul, DV Motorsport. So it's a 1-2 for DV Motorsport at present. And Bay Racing team of Daniel Renhui, Justin To currently in 3rd spot. Of course, all these classifications, they keep rapidly changing due to the intense nature of this starting 3 laps. As you can see, they are all still very much in close contention. Nothing much separating any team.
Yes, these are comparable to takeoff and landing for a plane. By far the riskiest part of your journey. And we already have our first adjudication as well. Drive-through penalty for car 33 causing a collision at turn 2. Somebody had to be responsible for what we saw.
This is the Morgan team, TDX, Tang Yu Cheng and Ip Tak Meng.
So that's actually what we were talking about. One of those adjudications that does directly affect the time of your race and of your laps, because a drive-through penalty will mean they have to come through the pit lane. The pit lane has a limited speed, which means you are slowing down, and that's where you lose the time. Do you remember this corner yesterday?
Yeah.
Wow.
Turn 7 coming into turn 8. That was where a lot of the action took place.
Well, I mean, you needed a boat pretty much. There was the most amount of water had kind of coagulated on that corner, and at least 4 cars went off before they re-amended their knowledge of the racing line here.
It was interesting when Irene and also Mia spoke to our competitors yesterday. John Z actually said he preferred racing in the wet, and true enough, he came through the form by winning.
And that was the first time that they put wet tires on that car.
Exactly, the first time they used slick tires. This time they're back to racing in normal circumstance, but not sure if they prefer racing in scorching conditions or they would rather race with a little moisture on track.
We have so many cars, you can actually see the racing line. The way it sways from left to right, how wide you have to go in turn 15 because the car is occupying it all the time. So there it is, you can see here. Now if you can stay on that line, you will go faster than anybody else. And they are on and off because, as I said, these chassis do roll. But as you said, I'd say up to 40, maybe even 41. Not only be on your best behavior, but try and put out some really good laps because it'll put you up in a very big grid up into the top kind of quadrant of it, and then you can start working your strategy. Because if you get caught in the bottom, you know, from 30 to 40, you might actually end up stuck between.
Oh, there's a setback for our MT2V leader.
Divish.
Yeah.
Well, in the pit immediately, and for 25 seconds actually. Now, I don't remember the pit window being open yet.
Yeah, this is an unscheduled pit. There must be some car troubles. And this is what we spoke of, Jeev. Like, you know, you can set the car
Exactly.
the best shape possible, and you can already be in the ascendancy.
Yeah,
but this is what...
I mean, that's the worst situation you could possibly have with the bonnet actually
looks like
up.
a engine stalled.
Well, actually, I guess the worst situation would be the bonnet up and smoke coming off
Yeah.
it. So that's at least one, you know, positive. But one key aspect of that is, of course, that car is
That's
not moving.
Divish behind the wheel.
And not moving cars, well, they tend to be a bit of a thorn in the strategy, shall we say.
And Radiputra, perhaps a little too excited early on. Still waiting for confirmation if there's going to be any penalty for this Papaya Pay Racing. But props to Hendra. I mean, he's teamed up with Fadzil Alang, and you know, they did not finish 2 races, but they won 2 races.
Hendra's great.
It's a great combination, a blend of experience and youth. And I think each time Hendra has that excitement, that hunger, he has Fadzil to just calm him down a little bit.
Look at the way the MTC cars are just plowing through the MT2Gs and Vs.
They navigate the corners so well.
This is actually, you know, something we didn't see yesterday. There weren't enough cars on track, but this is a significant factor in the race. Back markers. You have to get through them at a decent rate, effectively, graciously. And when I say graciously, I mean there are regulations. They should get out of the way for you if you're a leader, especially. But you don't want any accidents. I mean, look at the back of that car for a start. So look at how many cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cars that the guys yesterday didn't have to.
Yeah, not at all.
around.
A completely different challenge.
So with the sun and that, it is, as you said, a completely different... Oh, that's not good. That's not good, but it is good for the championship because they were really far ahead. 68.
The positive thing for them
48.
is that it happened early in the race, so they have a lot of time to get back out there and try to get some points.
But as I said, you don't want to get, you know, miss the cut almost. Get from if you get caught in between 22 and 34 early on, and you're there at about 40 laps, there is a chance you can spiral down and in and stay within that classification. So ideally, you want to do exactly what Jonathan C did yesterday, which is just put pedal to the metal, full on, which is what Johnny obviously does very well anyway. Get as far up the classifications as possible, so when you get to the first pit window, when everybody stops, you're within that first kind of section. You know, I'm saying 1 to 15, and then 15 to 25 to 34. Those would be the three kind of tiers that you want to get in. It just means because with so many cars vying for position, it's going to be harder for you to get out of. MT2G, Sun Chu Po and On Yu Wei still ahead. 6 laps down now for them. And in their absence, it is Parajan, Krishnan and Brendan Paul Anthony.
Yeah, they were in second place and they just replaced them.
DV is still on top.
DV still on top, yes.
Just not with that leading car.
Almost over 4 minutes now in the pits.
Yeah, not with the aircraft carrier, with the battleship. And that's the one leading. Yeah, that's the exact thing that I was looking for when I turned around. 26 seconds, not very indicative of much. 4 minutes 22 on an unscheduled pit stop on lap 7. Do you need any other clues? I mean, there's something very wrong there, okay?
Big troubles, big troubles.
There's not an accident, it's not luck.
Because when we saw Chiao Tek Song yesterday come in for pit, it was just to change his tires and he got out within 2 minutes. The problem was already apparent and it was just a matter of changing the tires. There was nothing else to be done on that car. But now they are diagnosing the issue. And that's what's taking time.
There are times in the last few years where cars have come in and it takes an hour to just diagnose the problem, let alone fix it and get it out. So you see cars, if it's S1K and you've got 8.5 hours to then go and pull up, fine, come up, 5 laps behind, 6 laps behind. There's still a strategy that will work for you. But here, it is it's basically 2.5 usual MTCC rounds, that's it. So that, as you said yesterday, multiply your strategy by 2.5, multiply your fuel by 2.5, multiply your thinking, awareness and everything by about 2.5.
Yeah, time is against them. Time is against all of our competitors, 34 of them. So far it's been that DV Motorsport car number 19 that has been affected the most.
There are a lot of different teams in these within these 3 categories: Sakudo X, Bay Racing, R Engineering, Nisa Racing, Night Racing, Empire M. We've seen them for a good few years. Kuraz, Bay, Chun. So between each of them, there's going to be a competition of who's getting it right, not who's going the fastest, who's getting it right, who's being most compact, who has nailed the corners, who's nailed the strategy. A lot more teams. It's kind of like a competition within itself. A lot of these teams are going to know they haven't got the pace to go off and win from where they are. So it's about how many points you can, like football almost, how many points you can actually rack up in a season. That's and compare it to last season, the season before, and they have had. Well, since 2011 was the Malaysia Super Series, and then it became the Malaysia Championship Series. So yeah, about 10 years, 15 years of results, lap results.
That car that we just saw, car number 27, our current leader, they have had a unique approach to this season because when we spoke to them in round 2, they said that their approach was not about the MTCC, it was rather a preparation to the S1K. And this, of course, is a mini S1K. Yeah. So I think they have tailor-made their season specifically for this 300K and then, of course, for the S1K.
Perfectly valid if they did.
And so it would be interesting to see how they have set up the car for both machines.
Well, it's also your objectives are going to change every year. So you look at our engineering's objectives now, as opposed to when they first started up and they hadn't won a single MCS title. Now they've won all the MCS titles, they've won everything. So what do you do after that? Where do you go after that? In terms of dominance, it's about pit lanes, pit times, and everything else we said. HMRT would love to have a debut, a good run of trophies in their cabinet. So that's going to be their objective. But for some of the back markers, especially in MT2G and V, well, we've got a ruling on the starting procedure. Wheel exceeded track line. Yes, that's right. Front straight drive through penalty. So yeah, okay.
So there's a drive through penalty for 2 cars, 13.
And that shows you the
and 789.
The detail that they actually go to as well, because that's an intentional wheel that was put out of track. It's not an accidental wheel. That's why there's a drive-through penalty. And that car, as I said, for 13 and 17, 7,
That
8,
was
9.
the car we saw earlier. There was the Morgan TDX and car 789, which was Li Chiwa and Lestelian X-Works.
Yeah, and race controls had a look in slow motion at that entire opening sequence of 4 or 5 corners, and seen that is an intentional move, which dominoed off and ended up, just causing a little bit of a situation, which thankfully was controlled well off track. This one car, I can't remember which car it was that actually went off and came back on, but it came back on at a good part. It could have been much worse.
I'm sure race control would have anticipated that they'll have a much busier evening compared to yesterday.
They're actually quoting exactly the articles. All cars respect track limit. Article 27.20 of the sporting.
So there's no point of contention, no point
yeah.
of argument.
There's no.
It's all by the law of the book.
Exactly. And if that, if they quote you the exact article, that's exactly why. It's not up for misinterpretation anyway, especially when you've got 34 cars out on the track, very sunny, hot track.
Race control extremely busy. There's also a first warning for car 919 for track limit.
Ng Chong Chig and Freddie Ann, Saputo X Ultra Racing, currently 12 seconds back. And 1 lap. In fact, so we've already got the leaders, MTC, going through that back marker situation. We saw it starting earlier on. Now it's a continuous thing. Every corner they go to is going to have somebody on it. Going much slower, that must be added as well. It's relative motion. There you go, you can see it. Relative motion. You do not want to hound that car off. You don't want to push it off. You want to give the clearest line through, which they did. Tedco Racing, they've been in. Had a shot the game for a while.
First 10 laps, if we were to have an early report card for our competing teams, what would their verdict be?
HMRT all the way.
Yeah, HMRT 1-2.
1-2.
Picking up from where they left off.
4 seconds between them and 29 seconds between them and everybody else.
Yeah, it looks a straight shootout between both the HMRT teams.
Those cars are set up. They're going fast through the corners.
I expected more from Hendra Adiputra though. I thought he would try and contest because we saw how he blazed out of the starting line. But he seemed to have just faded away.
It's still really early on for the word fade away, I would have thought. And it might just be, as I said, what we saw with Leoncu yesterday when he was posting 237s up early on. Turned out to be just another step in the strategy to get them to the end, because there's two things involved. You want to get to the end quickly, but you want to get to the end, because if you don't, even if it's the last 100 meters, everything is gone. And that's why we saw, and this is important to note, in the last 5 laps of the 300-kilometer race yesterday, everybody kind of just sat within their areas. They could have attacked Jonathan. What would be the point? You're just going to finish 4 seconds faster and push.
They did not overdo it. They just.
Yeah, you don't want to put too much pressure on the car for no reason. You're not going to win it. So want that extra kind of gas.
I think, like you mentioned, when it comes to the last 10 laps, it's all about getting over the finish line
it's
and
about
making
consolidation.
sure. And you pick up points on the board.
Yeah, so if you had to name those 3 or 4 sectors within the race, the first one would be accrual, to get up, to gather as much power or whatever. And the last one is consolidation. And you want to consolidate when you're in the top 3, whether you're 25 seconds back or not, because that's podium. That's podium, that's points, decent amount of points.
This is the father-son combination, currently in 31st place. Always good to see family members.
Cousins yesterday.
Cousins, yeah.
In their first race on the podium. So there were actually a lot of headlines from yesterday, which is great.
Yeah,
but not the headlines that you would have expected, that's the thing. For a rainy day.
For a rainy day, yeah. We saw John Z picking up his first win of the season. Cousins in their debut race.
I got a better one for you. Grey skies throughout the entire race and no full course yellow. Not one. water on the track, not one.
Even though we spoke about it,
It was an incredibly smooth race. And it was only Chow Tek Cheong's last, it was basically at the end of the race.
At the end,
they could have got a full course yellow. But this is sunny conditions, and I'm seeing more threat of a full course yellow here than yesterday. That's down to the nature of these cars, obviously.
these cars are interacting with each other much more than yesterday.
Down to the number of these cars as well. But also, it's, as I said, it's just the story of the race. And that's, for all these racing teams that I was talking about, that's the story they're going to remember.
That papaya pace dropped back further, another 5 seconds. It seems to be struggling out there, and to lose traction in that span of time.
Well, you got to look at the next guy as well, and they're dropping off as well. So basically, the two HMRTs are.
This is another unscheduled pit.
Yep.
I believe pit is not open just yet.
Soon, but not yet. And once again, for the pit window, it'll be open for a specific amount of time. So, and enough time that you can pick early, middle, or late entrance into the pit, and that will greatly change when you have more than one pit stop. In any usual MTCC round, which is 1 hour, there's one pit stop. So everything revolves around that one pit stop. Yesterday, we saw Jonathan C come in early for the first pit stop, late or middle for the second pit stop, while our engineering was late for both. You'd think, based on intuition, if you're late for both, you should be ahead. But as we saw, it was the early mid that was the right box to tick. And lots of heat haze coming off the track. And remember what I said about the gray color of the asphalt? Look at the color here. This is, you know, you can see where the water is really, and here it's like bone dry. A lot of traction for these tires. That of course gives a lot of great transmission for the powertrains to push these chassis through all the corners. A lot less groups of battles this year, I'm thinking. It's like 2s and 3s as opposed to 7s and 6s.
Because we had way more participation, I think, in last year we had about 71 cars. This year is a more concentrated feel.
Yeah.
But I'm anticipating that we will begin to see more duels, especially the MT2G. That looks the most competitive affair.
Well, that is the leader of MT2V, the other DB Motorsport 190 car, which has also got a track limit warning because they are pushing that very wide.
Yeah, currently with a 9-second advantage, this car, number 190.
These Suzuki Swifts, though, I'm serious. If you do put the pedal to the metal, they oversteer out. You know, it's you can tell when they're accelerating when they're not. Very good on the corners, though. Very, very good on turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, amazing and great durability as well. These Swifts, we've seen how they dominate these endurance races, not just in the 300Ks, but also in the Sepang 1000.
Every now and then, a big car manufacturer, you know, gets a design right, and that design resonates through not just road cars and normal production cars, but into, you know, racing cars as well. And as we said yesterday, the Honda Civic FD2 was a brilliant design. It just hit the marks. And it looks like the Suzuki Swift, sorry. You get those odd, you know, Volkswagens and A45s that turn up as well that do well enough, but they have different strengths and weaknesses than, you know, a good all-rounder car.
And we even saw how the Yaris really outdid itself in certain sections of the race.
Right.
Yesterday, Hafiz posting the fastest lap time.
Well, the Yaris is obviously now a mainstay of TGR, Toyota Gazoo's racing program as well. So it has proved itself for sure that it can handle most types of corners and keep its composure, keep its speed. That's the ST Wangan. That's the powered PTE then now. ST Wangan was one of the first teams to run the A45 a few years back. Singaporean team. Again, that's a good shout out to all the regional countries, drivers, and teams that we have on represent. This is the biggest of all 3 grids, all 5 grids, including yesterday's as well. We've got, you know, Malaysian teams,
Yes, Bangladesh, Singapore.
Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Indonesia.
Indonesia, yes.
Vietnam is one of the leading, in fact, names in terms of young drivers coming out of Indonesia.
Just slightly pulling away. Car number 27, HMRT, over the
I think in this opening stage, pre-pit window 1 stage, I think you have the option of pushing ahead or not, because your car's pretty much fresh.
By that logic, G, if Papaya pay, there's something wrong.
True, yeah, because that's what I was about to say. If your car is fresh and hasn't taken any knock in any way and is not performing, then you have guaranteed. And it's very easy to blame the crunch that you had on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, that was aeons ago, that incident. You'd have thought Hendra would have recovered by now.
Another good point that you brought up. You have to move through these incidents. You can't keep thinking about.
You can't dwell about it because there's just too much of traffic and too many things going on, and the focus has to be there.
One MTCC round is about 21 laps. We've had 13 laps so far already. So, in terms of reliability, these cars, their usual benchmark is going to be coming up in about 7 laps. And generally speaking, 90% of them, 80% of them do make it through the 1-hour races. But this is continuous. It's going to keep going after that. And it's hot days, I'll tell you. There's something different about cool air and hot air going through a combustion engine through the front grille.
And you can just imagine how it would be for the drivers inside with their racing suit.
Well, that's got to be getting very hot there now. Yeah, those fireproofs are about 5 kilos anyway in terms of material. But the point about them is they're not supposed to allow anything in, so they're essentially, you know, rubber suits collect all of your heat. That's why they're big fans, because you haven't got the ability to put an air conditioning unit of any sort in these cars because of the weight. So they don't have air conditioning units. They actually direct air.
Yeah, it's just bare bones. It's pretty much bare bones. To keep the car as light as possible in order to give you the best performance.
They are still the road cars that you and I see every day on the street.
You and I drive as well.
And the power to weight ratio has been obviously altered and tuned up because of that. They've taken out the 3 other seats. They don't need those. They've taken out, the CD player. You don't need that. All that stuff's gone. And when we drive our cars, we never think we don't need it. But you think of your car now.
Comfort is absolutely pivotal for you and I, for the likes of you and I. We need all of that, right? But for these guys,
and everyone who lives in Malaysia that's watching this broadcast knows that if you turn your air conditioner off in Malaysia, even for 1 minute,
you're not going to make it past the first lap.
You're not going to make it past the first minute because it gets very, very hot indeed. Now, these guys said they don't have air conditioners. It's a very hot day.
That's very abnormal from Hendra Adiputra. Just something seems off.
That could be a lot of different things. It could be a steering issue, for one. But it's not going to be a setup issue. In the first 10 laps, if you got your setup so wrong that you can't make the corners at high speed, then that's... So I think
he seems to be struggling all around.
It's either an axle problem, it could be a brakes problem, that's why he's skidding and he can't slow down enough for it. But I'm thinking it's a steering problem thing. Because cars aren't supposed to oversteer or understeer at that rate. That's a good little take there from Axel Motorsports on the inside. Double switchback, perfect position to be in.
Wow, it's still early days, but if I'm just looking at the current standings.
2 good teams, Axel and 23 Workshop. They've made headlines in the last few years. So you can just see on the left of your screen, that's the current standing in MT2V, just MT2V. And that's confirmation that DV Motorsport's other car is now 14 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, but then just 1 second between Mark and Kenny and Daniel and Justin in second and third. So there is a fight brewing for podium positions in MT2V. After that, it drops off by about 15 seconds, fourth and fifth. Look how close that is.
That's extremely close.
But just keep an eye on second and third. Mark Darwin, is that Mark Darwin? It should be. No, Mark Chusin and Kenny Chanwai, number 7 car, and also Daniel Renoy and Justin Toh. 1 second between them for a podium position with 39 laps to go.
You know what, Jeev? I don't see car number 190 anymore. Deviation Harkish.
No, it's topping MT2V.
Sorry,
the
that's
other one, 19.
19, yes.
Yeah, that's gone. That's probably
So we only
far
have
down.
33 cars on track. It looks like the race has been run for Deviation Harkish.
And this is going to sound strange to people that can't see it, but there are so many cars on track that it actually fills up one of these huge big screens that we have. And Divyesh, that number 19 car, might literally be in the big blue race control part of the screen underneath, because as I said, you can't shrink them anymore. It is a great testament to the Sepang International, the Petronas Sepang International Circuit, for having this many competitors regularly these days. I think it's been 5 years now. It's been jam-packed. And as you said, this being a precursor and an R&D event for S1K means that at least these 34 teams will be turning up for the big race. And we've seen up to 76, 77.
Yeah, I think we will see a double this participation come the S1K. But of course, we are only halfway through the season. So much to race for, so much to contend for. For car number 27, they couldn't ask for a better start. Perfect weekend in round 2. 2 victories in their debut week. Aaron Lim and Avila Baha. And they just continued in the same vein. Currently with a 1 whole lap advantage. 11 seconds advantage over their compatriots. Pretty much in cruise control, and we have confirmation the first pit window is officially open. That must come as a sign of relief for some of our competitors who just perhaps need a breather, need a driver change, need to get the tanks fueled up. A little bit of strategy conversation going on as well.
I would describe it as all those things except the breather. I think the pit window open, as I said, is the first marker in the ground, which you should have a general set of numbers as to how your race is going. It's the first indicator as to where you could go from here. And as we said, it's going to be gauged by come in early, come in late, or come in middle, or come in late. And that was a very early entrance there.
Yeah, 3 teams already pitting. They were the earliest, the early birds to the first pit.
And it's all part of the greater strategy when you have 2 pit windows. Because the first pit window we saw yesterday was very much a tire-based thing. The second pit window was about fuel. It was splash and dash, just so they can make that final gambit, the final 15 laps. It's great that of the 54 laps, each of those laps has a different significance. And you know, you need to prepare differently for the last 10 as you do for the first 10 or the middle 10. And there has to be that understanding amongst 15, 20 people in the team. Everybody knows exactly where they're supposed to be at the end of pit window 1, pit window 2, if all goes well. Long shadows being cast over the pit lane, and that just once again tells you we weren't at noon. It was just afternoon. Kicked off at about 2:55. It's almost 3 p.m.
Yeah, just 3:30 right now. And really, this is where the sun is at. It's absolute scorching.
It's not just the fact that it's hot. It's the fact it's coming in to the drivers at an angle, it's not above them anymore. So there's going to look at the
They're
shadows.
directly feeling the heat.
Look at the shadows on the car. As I said, and as we go through it, it's now 3:40 local time. As we get closer to 5 p.m. or 4 p.m., the light diminishes, and that makes it harder to see. But right now, there are times like that where the sun is coming directly at them. If it was noon, there would be no shadows under those cars, and you wouldn't see it. But it's that annoying situation of, your arm on your fireproof is now getting even hotter because of where the sun is.
And it's a big difference as compared to racing earlier in the day, because the morning sun isn't as intense.
Exactly.
Our competitors are able to contend with it more. In fact, they might welcome that early sunlight as opposed to this scorching, blazing heat that directly affects their line of vision, and ultimately affecting the
Isn't
performance.
that a very important car that's in the pit right now? It is. That's 4th place, Fu Yongcha and Yi Kok Jun.
It's been a while since we spoke about this Tetco Racing car number 15.
They've been kicking around for a good couple of years. They've had a great number of results. Mark Darwin, I remember, got them a great number of results. And doing well here. I said so far, 4th, and 1 lap down. That could be down to the pits, but keeping in contention. I think the top 5, anyone in the top 5, no matter how far back you are, and Fadzil Alang and Hendra are already almost a minute back from Avia Baha and Aaron, who, by the way, should get our cheers. It's 37 laps, and they have been untroubled at the front.
Yeah. Straight from the get-go, they've set the pace and they've just pulled away with every lap.
Just think of the amount of back markers they've had to go through to get to this point.
That's been the challenge for them
And
now,
they are
getting
still
past the
out.
back markers, getting past traffic, and at the same time trying to maintain a competitive lap time.
And they've done it. Right now, they're the only team that has hit 2:32. Their last lap was 2:34, so only 2 seconds off.
Still the fastest on track.
and they are 12 seconds ahead at 37 laps, which is a good line up. It's not the perfect line, but so far, this is exactly what Jonathan Z did yesterday. 13 seconds and 16 seconds at the 2 pit windows. Here it is 12 seconds at the first pit window, and they have got the fastest lap and the last fastest lap as well.
And here they come for the first pit.
Safely into the pit. And look how quick this pit's going to be. Because every single part of the process they have actually looked into.
I reckon it was more of a challenge for John Z yesterday, because he was the solo driver, so everything actually landed on his lap, on how he was going to navigate the race.
Isn't that him? That's him.
But in this instance, chemistry, definitely one of the main ingredients. These guys, Avila and Aaron Lim, have been together for such a long time. They know each other's racing styles.
The only reason I agree with you on that is because of Johnny Z's comment in round 2 when they asked him what was plan B, and he said the other driver.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? That's exactly. So that's a very solo driver kind of outlook on the whole team process. In the end, he's probably been charged to do a certain job, which is how you'd approach these things. But I think in MTC, in this 1600 category, it's wise to have 2 drivers. I really do think so.
Especially in the context of a 300-kilometer race.
Yeah. But also I'm going to add that most of the famous names that we know on this list of drivers could do a solo 300.
They could, yeah. Not doubting that one single bit. I'm sure if you ask Z to go back out on his own today, he would say yes, because he's been racing every 3-4 days. You look at his Instagram feed, it's just filled with different races.
The approach towards the race, whether it's a solo or a double view, should not affect the delivery and the output of the needs of the team. That's the thing. How you see it and how you know, prepare yourself and do it should adapt easily so that it's an equal output for the needs of the team. So whether you're one driver or two, you could look at that and say, well, you know, with two people, you have to look at two different driving styles. With Jonathan D, you know what's going to happen. So basically, it's a lot easier in some respects, but you know, it's not easy. It's a challenge. That's what it is.
I mean, having to contend against yourself is a challenge on its own.
Other the other HMRT cars coming in now.
Speaking of being in the pits, yesterday we saw all 7 drivers. They were quite immaculate with their timing. They were pretty spot on. But look at it this time around. We've had a few cars who have overshot by almost a minute. In fact, that car number 33 just can't catch a break.
I think, yeah, I said
almost a minute.
Well, now you see the screen is shrunk, and look at the bottom. 19 Divyash Rajan, 26 minutes they've been.
There we have it. So they're still out there. It's just that.
Well, they're not out there. They're in the pits. They're still in the pits for 26 minutes.
26, yeah, they're still in the pits. Yes.
26 minutes.
That's why we haven't seen them.
26 minutes is equal to divided by 2, 13 laps, basically. Well,
I guess they'll have to make a decision soon if they're going to continue.
The rest will be R&D for S1K, as you said. In terms of winning the championship, they're going to have to rely on the buffer they've already set up before this
Precisely.
race.
And
it's not getting any bigger this weekend.
That throws the MT2V wide open because Divyesh and Harkish.
So in essence, they won't be that upset with what's happened here.
No, they won't.
Because it's not as critical as you need. When they've already got a 62-48 lead in the championship, they can quite as easily come back in round 4, hopefully get a double, get that 30 points back, and put the final nail in the coffin for everybody else in this division.
What it does is it also gives the likes of Axel Sports so much of hope. Because if now they can get themselves onto the podium, they would ultimately put themselves in contention for the championship come round 4.
Well, I will leave all those permutations to you. It's always good to have a good look at them, especially when you've got this many teams and going this many championships going on, sub-championships within the main classification.
Hendra Adiputra still looking to stay out there and try and make the best out of his stint before handing the wheel over to Fadzil.
That's a good way of looking at it as well. Just try and do the best that you can with what you've got. And on the day that might just be different. Pit lane speed again being respected, and now they get onto the gas. Quick short burst before they get into braking for turn 1. Wow,
that Morgan team has really come into all sorts of problems. They are in the pits for almost 8 minutes now.
So Avir Bahar and Aaron Lim put in a 5:12 on there. They were actually 12 seconds up. 5:12, so they lost that, but they were in, as I said, early. They're on now, lap now. They should get up to the top of the classification again. That's what I was saying about chunks that you want to be in, because now you can bounce. You come in for the pit, you bounce down to 4th, then your tires will take you up to about 2nd or 3rd. And based on the pit strategies and calculations that I've seen HMRT put in effect this year, I bet you they'll both be back exactly where they were for the next stage, which is now, of course, not outlap. It is the preparation for second pit window. Second pit window is critical because it's going to lead to end of race. Now, car 878, turn 8, lap 19, 30-second times added for 5th track limits infringement. They were warned, Nick.
They were.
They were warned, and now they've paid the price. There's that 30 seconds that they didn't want to see for just 5 wheels off track. Can you believe it? Yes, actually. But it's not rare for stuff to...
That would be Lai Wei Seng behind the wheel. So it was Faris who did the first stint.
Lai Wei Seng's had a busy weekend. He was in action for TP and TP2000 as well. Now those long shadows again.
I think we pointed this out in the previous round, but the HMRT are driving on the left side.
Oh, it's a left-hand. It's a left-hand drive car.
It's a left-hand drive car, and they are the only team
Do you know I've never driven left-hand drive ever?
Me too.
And right now I'm thinking about it, and I don't.
Even in simulation?
Not even in simulation, no. Oh no, you know what? I tell a lie. I did a rally course, and that car was left-hand drive, but it was a rally course. It wasn't really a road, so you know anything would do. Right here, actually, at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit, the Michelin Pilot Experience program. Got to do about 23 laps of the circuit in 3 different cars, including an F4. Very, very good, and it's very scary. Absolutely terrifying, in fact.
Of course, we're going to see a lot more of this Petronas Sepang International Circuit in the months to come because it's a jam-packed calendar. We forgot to highlight that this weekend there are a couple of other races. It's actually a jam-packed weekend. We have the GR86 Championship taking place, TGR as well, the Classic Car Challenge as well.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 challenges that pepper throughout the season, the year. But as you said, we're getting up to near November. November is the month because of MotoGP.
Yeah.
And yes, look, we're just going to say it out here that there are currently discussions, conversations, not rumors, they're discussions and conversations about possibly having a default F1 race here because of all the troubles that are currently happening for Bahrain, Qatar, and some of the other venues on the F1 circuit. It's not a guaranteed thing. It's certainly not a certified thing, so don't go around saying it and just wait for more information as it comes out. It's the biggest championship in motorsports. You will find out about it. Okay, everyone's going to talk about it once it is certified. But right now, there's just an idea.
Yeah.
What an idea, though.
The government is going to make an announcement later today, I believe, around 6 p.m.
If it did happen, are you going? You're coming in to see the...
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I don't think anyone who's a motorsport fan would.
I watched a couple of Schumacher's races.
Yeah,
years
me too.
Ago.
Back in the late 90s, I think it was 99.
The whole F1 paddock atmosphere was, quite intoxicating. It was great. But since then, of course, and since it moved on, this has been a much warmer climate to kind of look at these, motorsports issues. And the one we've got right now is, of course, the racing line. Momentum being carried through by 2 very similar cars. Pro Shop, 22 Pro Shop and Action Sports, who've actually been fighting this battle out since way back in the fifth lap.
In fact, I think this is the most exciting battle so far because these guys have not left each other's sides.
Well, when you say guys, of course, Genevieve is in there as well.
I think Tauhid is Raja Amirul is doing the first stint.
Yeah, but as I said, it's been, 20 laps now, an entire MTCC round, that they have been essentially at that distance, locked in their own cauldron of competition. Whether they're generally getting faster, both of them, in terms of the rest of the pack, you're going to have to figure out yourself. Right, we're going to get a little look into what's happened at DV Motorsport now, because we've got the 190 car down in the pits talking to the guys.
And right now I'm with car number 190. Of course, I have Jun here, who's actually the second driver. His partner is out on the tracks. Now, Jun, when we make the pit window and it's open, it's usually they do a transition of drivers, but you guys are doing something a little different. You want to talk about your strategy here?
Yeah, basically, of course, we wanted to change, but then again, say they look at the pace. So I said that the faster driver to go more laps, and then I will take as a second driver.
Would you say you're more of a finisher of the race? Is that your specialism when it comes to racing?
I will not say no, but again, as I said, that we look at the practice and qualify, we look at the pace. I think that, I'm slightly slower than the first driver. So the best actually that, the first 2 stints, actually we want the first faster driver to go even faster. Then I will continue for the last stint.
Now, you guys are currently leading as well. And of course, as you know as well, the endurance race for this round, it's going to bring up more points for the overall category. So do you think you have a chance to make it up to your standings for the entire MTCC season if you get your finishing first position this round?
I think if you look at it, I think we have entered two cars, car number 19 and car number 190. Basically, car number 19, we have some technical issue earlier. So car number 190, basically that we have our preparation for the S1K. So of course now we are doing some rearrangement again because I think we still have another 2 hours to go. I mean, I believe it must be more than that or maybe less than that, I'm not very sure. But let's hope that actually the car number 19 will gain more points. And if you look at it, the car number 190, basically, since I say that, it's going to be for the S1K. And if this round actually that, if we get something impossible, then probably we will use for the round 4 as a tool for the championship.
Amazing. I can't wait to see what else you guys will bring on the actions out of the tracks. Good luck to you. I hope you guys make it to pole position. I hope you guys get the first place position. Back to Nick and G.
Well, that is a very comprehensive look at the issues facing the DB Motorsport team right now.
Yeah, June just confirmed technical issues, which that's evident back half an hour ago. I believe that car is still in the pit, but that's another team who's already preparing for the S1K, looking at this race as a prep meal, so to speak.
Well, you could say that the entire season is a build-up to S1K. It is like,
yes,
very much the feature brand of the entire thing. There's no race quite like it. We know that because we've actually commentated for the full 8 hours, and trust me, you start at noon, it ends at 8. Everything is
lucky,
different.
I think 9 is the earliest.
Yeah,
we
so
finished,
you go through twilight, you go through the long shadows. There's a very, very good chance you're going to go through rain, patches of rain.
I remember once we had to stop for 2.5 hours because of rain.
And all of those time delays. But as I said, that's coming up in November, and it's always a spectacle. Right now, in terms of this is the second pit window.
This is still the first pit window.
Where's the first pit window? Yeah, that's right.
We're coming to the end of the first pit window.
Because that second pit window is going to be the splash and dash one. And, HMRT are, again, slowly making their way up through the ranks. And they're always together, It's like team dynamics. And on top of that, they can, put little defensive strategies in as well. Now, who are these guys? These are... That looks like...
Car 121. That would be Hakimi and Asfa.
R Engineering, right. Red R Engineering. That hasn't been seen for a while. Usually in green or orange. But a different class, I'm guessing. Mark Darwin and Luke and Neto have been quite muted today. Not much coming from them.
So has Adi Rahimi and James Russell as well. Of course, doing well to win the last race. I think there was a lot of expectancy on them to build on that. Currently 13th place in the MT2G.
That is very true. So, as they come out of the pit window, and this I can just see that most of the cars, 90% of the cars, are in the pits or have have already pitted. So that pit window can safely being called as closing, or its effectiveness is now over. And within the next 2 or 3 laps, we're going to have a pretty good understanding of what the complexion of this 300-kilometer race looks like. Going into the next stage of the race, which is another pit window.
Yeah, we're essentially down to 1.5 races if we are talking about a regular MTC category race.
And we discussed yesterday the strategy of yo-yoing in terms of lap times. So 3 laps at pace, 3 laps a couple of seconds back, you know, it takes a huge weight off the car in terms of pressure and expectation as well, and gets you more mileage.
Yeah, I think in terms of yo-yoing lap times, John Z played it to perfection. He really got it spot on, and we were dissecting it lap by lap towards the end.
Oh, so now we just saw that 121 car, and now we're going to talk to the driver of that car, Mohammed Hakimi, down in the pits with the guys.
Alright guys, now I'm down here at pit number 11. The car that just went off was car number 131. Asfar is now in the car because we have his partner Kimi who just came off the car. Kimi, awak baru je settlekan the first berapa lebih kurang 20 lebih lap. Okay, sebelum tu saya nak tanya dulu, taktik awak masuk dulu dan awak akan akhirkan untuk endurance 300 km ni. Terangkan sikit kenapa taktik macam tu.
Jadi saya sebab kita tadi start daripada P10 dan depan kita semua fighter-fighter laju, dan kita punya strategi, saya first stint saya push, second stint push dan third stint pun push. Strategi memang push je hari ni.
So apa bezanya semua push sebenarnya?
Bezanya biasa endurance kita bawa biasa je, kita jaga kereta semua untuk nak dapatkan finishing. Tapi ini kita betul-betul nak comeback, kita push to the limit.
Memang push, of course, sebab bila kita cerita tentang endurance 300 ni, sebanyak mana kita nak push pun kita kena tahu juga yang kenderaan kereta kita tu, yelah kalau kita dah biasa dengan racing untuk round pertama dengan kedua, endurance ni strategi kena berlainan sikit sebab you nak kena jaga tayar, you nak kena tanya engine, nak kena jaga gearbox dan sebagainya. So macam you, apa yang strategi yang you padankan untuk nak memastikan you boleh deliver dan juga untuk finish the best lah?
Strategi saya, second stint asam, give the best. Nak push sangat pun tak boleh. So just maintain the posisi. And last thing, I push balik untuk finishing P1.
Dan mana yang kita sedia maklum untuk pusingan yang kedua, you dengan Asfar telah dinobatkan sebagai amateur, you menang anugerah amateur tu kan? So, does that give you lebih pressure untuk perform lebih baik lagi ke, ataupun you ambil itu sebagai titik semangat untuk you meningkatkan lagi prestasi you?
Saya ambil benda tu sebagai titik semangat sebab kita nak lawan P1 sejak round pun tak boleh sebab mereka lagi banyak pengalaman daripada saya baru second years. So adanya kategori amatur ni membuatkan saya lebih semangat lah untuk kejar amateur dan overall championship.
Okay, kita harapkan, kita doakan yang kita bolehlah jumpa Hakimi dan juga Asfar atas podium nanti. Okay, good luck. Okay, just back to you guys.
Now, while a strategy of pushing throughout the entire endurance race might seem a little bit risky, it is, as I said, it's just one part of a much bigger kind of look at what's going on. But
I think Hakimi realized it at the end that as much as he wanted to push, it's not feasible throughout the course of 3 hours. And I think Asfar would know that as well.
It's something that you want to happen, for sure.
Everyone wants to push.
Everyone will happen. Every single touring car on the planet will want it to happen. But yeah, it's probably not what, where you want to put all the eggs in your basket, shall we say.
If you take a look at the MTC classification,
well, just before we do that, we have just crossed the hour mark. So let's have a look back at the start of this 300-kilometer race. Well, as you can see, they all made it out smoothly. Just the 6 cars in MTC, and then of course the big group from MT2G and V. Now the starting procedure was under investigation for a little bit of a hit in turn 2. In the end, a couple of people got some penalties, and then we got, that was the big news from hour 1, which was the big leader in MT2V, DV Motorsports, that number 19 car that's 62.48 up in the championship, for some mysterious reason, is still in the pits now and has lost a good half an hour of this race. Everybody else has been running pretty well, Empire M as well, and the 190 car, the sister car in the DV Motorsports lineup, has been leading MT2V. Track limits warnings were the theme of the day, and a couple of teams actually paid the price as well. We got to the first pit window. strategies were discussed. HMRT were absolutely impeccable as usual, even though that just shows the burning pace that they had. And it was Papaya Pay that, with Fadzil Alang, that was somewhere in the middle. I just have to say somewhere in the middle of that top classifications. They're not really going forward and they're not really going down.
Finally, see car number 19, Deviation Harkish.
Oh, they're out. They're out on track.
Yeah, they're finally out.
So that's good. That's great news. Before we take a quick break right now, we'll be back in just a while with the rest of this race.
The ultimate. Main technical partner for Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Ventus. Hankook Tire.
Welcome back to the 300-kilometer race of the MT1600 category. We are well through this race with 28 laps to go. That is halfway stage. And I can tell you that it's been kicking hot and heavy here at the Petronas International Circuit. Absolutely scorching. And you may have even seen earlier one of the brake pads from one of our competitors' cars was on fire. It's that hot. The action has been hot as well. And just to give you some updates on who's leading the pack in the MTC, we have the Sakudo X team who have surprisingly come out on top. They were, I think, in 4th or 5th place before the pit window was open. But upon completion of the pit window, they find themselves on top currently with 1 lap advantage over Avila Baha and Aaron Lim, who will be doing their best to catch up. Something must have happened there in the pit, because we saw that HMRT car number 27, they completed the pit in the allocated time, 5 minutes. They exceeded 12 seconds. So it's a surprise to see them trailing 1 lap behind, whereas Lai Wei Seng, who's currently behind the wheel, is in 3rd place, 9 seconds behind that sister car. While in the MT2G, Sun Chi Po, Aung Yon Wei currently leads the line, even though they have just pitted. And that would mean Jonathan G, who won yesterday's TP race, he will assume top spot. Mark Darwin, Luke Anton in 3rd place. And in the MT2V, we have Rio Chong and Karu Rose Honda R-Works Rios. They currently lead the line. Parajun Krishnan and Brandon Paul, who's currently behind the wheel, they were leading at first before the pit window, but now currently find themselves in 2nd. And in 3rd place, Daniel Rain, Ui, Justin To, Bay Racing team. They have taken over the reins from the Excel Sports team of Raja Amirul and Genevieve Henrietta. So a couple of changes to the leaders. I would say, in all three categories. And this is expected because upon a pit window, there will be a lot of changes in terms of shift in momentum, shift in leaders. And there's also confirmation that our second pit window is now open. So it's back-to-back pits in this race, and this will certainly be a point of contention in this race. Back-to-back pits, we've already seen leaders change hand in all three categories. And will we now see a different dynamics to this race? There was car 878 who was dealt with a 30-second penalty earlier. Now battling back to try and make up ground.
Is that the only penalty that we've actually seen given out?
I think it is.
There's a couple of flags also went out.
So it's been back-to-back pit window, Jeev. We had a pit window that was closed earlier.
And now the new one. This is the second one, right?
This is the second one.
I did think they were kind of getting a bit closer. That's why I got a bit mistaken earlier on.
And we've also seen leaders change hand in all three categories.
Wow. Is that just because of the outlaps that are still happening? I mean, we should probably wait another lap or two. But Sakudo X Ultra Racing currently logged as the leader in MTC. So congratulations to Lim Yi-chok and Ng Wei Liang. But Avir Baha and, in fact, both HMRT cars have now moved in tandem again up to second and third. So I strongly think that they are going to... Yes, because Sakudo X haven't been in yet. In fact, they're the only car that hasn't actually logged a pit, which is very odd. Because if this is the second pit window, surely they missed the compulsory stop. Well. That's for car number 900. 60 seconds plus 7. That's a 67 second.
It's a major blow for car number 900.
Wow, that's a minute and 7 seconds. Again, article 27.7. That is a killer article. That's the one that is just stopping campaigns in their tracks, literally. Pit stop infringement. It's car number 900, right? Let's have a look. That's Ling Guan Yu and Lu Ka-wai from Bay Racing, and it says 501. Oh, but that might be the second one. No, it's the first one. 501. That's a pit stop infringement. Wow. And so I can see a 511, 57, 514, and of course, Chan Kia-ping and Lo Kai-fung from Morgan Team TDK. 32 minutes and 33 seconds. That is...
Yeah.
That is
They're almost matching car 19.
Curtains is what it is. There aren't very many racing strategies with 26 laps to go that are going to save you 32 seconds without other cars having to be involved. And that's a lot of risk that you're going to have to take a gamble for. But that's, of course, if you wanted to win from here. I don't think that's the point. I think right now for Morgan Team, they're going to just want to get that car out just to see how quickly they can fix these things. Once it was Jonathan Z who was in the lead, I remember. 17-minute pit stop he had.
Yes, I remember that. I think it was 2 seasons ago.
17 minutes. He was in there, just not moving, and that, of course, completely changed the outcome of his race. Talking of Jonathan Z, where is he? He's in pit right now. And that 91 car. And is second in class for MT2G. It's not bad. By the way, the leader is also in Bay Racing, but they're now just leaving the pit lane on their outlap. So all three of the top three in MT2G actually came in at roughly the same time.
So I think we will see a true reflection of the leaders once Sakudo X gets into pit.
Yeah, that's why I think this, these pit windows can get a little bit kind of ruffled in the edges. And with these guys out, it's giving a false representation of who is exactly in the lead. So right now, because the pit stops have been done, Avir Baha and Aaron Lim, again, have just been storming this. They've been blazing it. They've been blazing it like the sunshine that's been on the track since the start.
Yeah, they've been absolutely immaculate.
No further action for 789 and 29 for that incident at turn 2. That's good to know. That's Axeworks and
This is
911.
the penalty.
Yeah.
878 will have to go
Well,
through.
I said you were talking about what's frustrating. This is frustrating.
Yeah.
You stop the car, you watch all the other cars go by. Is this the penalty? That might just be a second pit window.
Let's see. 878.
Well, no work is being done on the car. Oh, yes, it's a refueling stop. It is the second pit window. That's why. So if it was a drive-through penalty, that car would still be moving.
Yeah, they would just go
and
through.
if it's a stop and
at
go, the
reduced
driver
speed.
would be in the car. So this is definitely pit window number 2. As we said, the pit windows kind of smashed into each other, which is
That's actually our leader that has pitted for the first time.
yes.
That's
Sakura
a kudo.
X, yeah, that's right. Though which is probably wise then that they did that, because having that 0 as the last car is never going to look good. As you can see, the brains behind the speed of any team are the people that monitor that speed and monitor the car.
And this would mean we'd see car number 27 replace them anytime now and resume its original position at the top of the standings.
And what's really important is I want to see the timing, because as we said yesterday, Jonathan Z picked up 3 seconds between the 2 pit windows, 13 and 16 seconds. It looks like HMRT have picked up either a lap or a minute.
As a result of coming in
I
earlier.
said, if it's a minute, then, you know, with 25 laps to go, that's just finish the race. Don't have to worry about anything. 95%. 25 laps at 2 minutes apiece, or 2:54, 2:35. You can do the math.
Yeah, we can
We did a lot of maths yesterday.
Oh, we have our first FCY.
Hey!
This
Long
weekend.
time no see. How have you been? You've lost weight.
As a result of debris on turn 15, I
Well,
believe.
did we have an FCY in round 2? Because this might be the
we
first.
did have, but it
We
was
did.
a very brief FCY.
So this is actually the first FCY in about 2 or 3 weeks, or 4 weeks.
Yeah, indeed.
It's pretty good.
There was a FCY threatening yesterday.
Threatened,
after
but not,
Xiao
yeah.
Tek Song. But then eventually race control decided, okay, we'll just give a warning. And that was it.
It was a universal threat to all the cars, which was the water on the racing line. It wasn't put down by them. There was no debris left, no oil, and they kept moving. So I reckon that's probably the basis of all of it. But as I said, I'm not part of race control. And are we back to green flag racing already? That's a nice short full course yellow.
There was like a 7 seconds.
Do you know what, Nick? We're so traumatized by that full course yellow that we had a couple of years back, which went on for what seemed like days. That now every time
If
it
I
pops
remember correctly, it happened during a 300-kilometer race as well.
up. Yeah, but it went on for days. I mean,
Yes.
all I remember was full course yellow and those flags moving. And so we're kind of hardwired to thinking it's going to be wild, but it isn't. And whatever reason that was for, it has been fixed. We're back up to full speed. That can also be a challenge for the drivers. You know, you have to go down to full course yellow speeds and hold it there, and then jump onto the. So you're putting a bit of pressure on the powertrain. But I just think this HMRT Honda is so solid in so many different departments. Even this entering, you know.
This is where I think they will regain their lead, and we'll get to see how far they actually pulled away from the racing pack.
Which again, as I said, was about 2 laps past the last guy getting into the pit window. So I think it's going to be a lot. I really do. Sakura X are at 4 minutes right now.
Oh wow, they are 63 seconds ahead of.
Yeah, I told you it's a full minute, if not a
full
lap.
minute, yeah.
So they have, and it was 12 seconds in the last pit window. So they have been maintaining a good pace, and have also the only team that broke 2:33. with a 2:32.524. That remains the fastest lap that we've seen today.
And true to form, car number 26 right behind them, almost 10 seconds behind.
Almost eerily so. I mean, it's like a
I
Stephen,
don't know how they do it.
It's like a Stephen King novel sometimes when you see both the cars going around.
He did it the same way in round 2 for both races.
Well, I mean, it's smart. One of those races, I remember they were actually putting a defensive formation and protecting each other. So
Yes.
it helps having your teammate right next to you, I'm sure. But to be able to do it, to maintain the
in this
same
kind
pace,
of traffic as well.
yeah, to maintain the same pace on both cars shows you the kind of consistency, blanket consistency that HMRT have put into it. There's just no difference between those two Hondas.
And so with that car coming out 878, that's confirmation that every single car has pitted.
So just to confirm what I said, the last lap time from both the HMRT different cars was 2:53.767 and 2:53.253. They are literally locked like Siamese twins going around in 1-2 formation. What an amazing team they have been.
And when everyone was busy racing in round 1 and doing their R&D, these guys just thought, okay, we're going to hang back, but when we go in, we're going to make sure that everything is seamless and perfect, and it's shown.
It's about benchmarks. It doesn't matter when you enter the season. It doesn't matter, what results you get. It's about the benchmarks that you set up for yourself, the consistency. It's basically you got a driver that finishes first, doesn't finish first, doesn't finish 16th, or a car that finishes third, all the way. And if you can put that to second all the way, and get a couple of double wins as well. First compulsory pit stop infringement, number 77. Is that our man? Our man. That's Daniel Ren-Oy and Justin Toe. So they've got a 63 second penalty. Article 27.7, eh? Wow. I might get a tattoo of that, Article 27.7. The worst in terms of infringements.
I'm glad to see that the timer on car number 19 is moving. It's back up.
Yeah, they are. Well, they've just completed 18 laps, and as you can see, everybody else, the leaders are on 31 laps. MT2G is on 28 laps.
We have a first compulsory pit stop for car 77.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be for Secudo X, to be honest, because of the smashed pit window stuff. But as I said, MTC is on 31 laps, MT2G is on 28 laps, MT2V is actually on 27 laps. So Divyesh and Harkish being on 19 laps shows you that they're actually living in a different dimension from everybody else. Quick shout out for Mark Darwin and Luke Anton Neto. I mentioned them earlier. They've just put in a green sector on sectors 1 and 2, and a pretty fast lap, 2:44.704, which is actually up with 5th place pacing overall. So that's the 13th car, 5th place pacing. Pacing, not placing.
Yeah, pacing. It was reminiscent to what we saw with Hafiz yesterday.
Exactly. Just, flashes of great form but it's about sustaining it. Black and white flag for track limit infringement from car 18. Car 90 turn 6 lap 29, also black and white flag for track limit infringement. There can be no dispute because they were warned at least 6 times early on in the race.
Yeah, race control has been extremely patient this time around.
Yeah, you've got to keep it on the black stuff. You cannot just be, frequently, habitually putting wheels off track. And this, I said, both pit windows being so close to each other is really messing with my head. It's like one pit window that's been open for days, it seems. But again, thank you, Mother Nature, for the wonderful track conditions that we've had. Solid, hot, yes, very hot, but solid, no threat of rain at all. Not one drop
absolutely
of moisture.
pristine racing conditions in terms of uninterrupted race.
comes with its pros and cons, as we mentioned, are hotter for the drivers in the car, a lot more traction for the tires on the track, which of course leads to faster times. There's Axel Sports, who are currently, there's Genevieve and Raja Amarul. I don't know which one of them is in the car right now, but 26 overall in class, 4th in position. Are they fighting? Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're fighting for position.
3rd as well, so that could be a podium position they're trying to get into. That's actually 3 cars, Modern Racing, Sakura X and Bay Racing. Nope, sorry, there's I got confused there. 69 we're looking at. There you go. It's KGI Racing, Axel Sports, and 91R
Racing. It's Hariri and also Ahmad Firdaus.
Yeah, and there's 0.2 of a second between the top 2 cars. So 3 cars that are locked basically within a second, and that is the closest we've seen.
Yeah, all coming in the MT2G, or rather MT2V.
DV Motorsport. Interesting. Shoot one of us down, the other one will come and get us.
Well, there are a couple of teams that have flattered to deceive. If I'm just looking at the standings now, like we mentioned earlier, Adi Rahimi, James Russell, but also another pairing, Nizar Racing, Ethan Sito and Ananton, who bagged themselves podium finish. Expected more from them. Perhaps struggling to contend with an endurance race, because they were really good over the course of 21 laps.
I don't know, I've seen a lot of things happen on this track over the last 10 years, and trying to keep track of all the factors that can affect these guys and their performance. You could speculate for hours. You go for days as to exactly what it was. In the end, you got to look at the overview in the story, and that is the time was lost. In Avia Bahar and Aaron Lim's case, no time has been lost. They're now lapping at 2:36, so yo-yoing back up. It's like 2:36, just 4 seconds off the fastest lap of the day, which they set very early on, and putting in good, solid 32 sector 1s, 35 sector 2s, 45 sector 3s, 41 sector 4s, again and again and again. I think I told you it was not last round, it was round 4. If you can maintain the exact same lap for 60% of this race, you're going to be in top contention. It's not like other sports where you can just suddenly push on and make an exquisite shot, for example, and then win it like that. There's a certain amount of aggregation that needs to be done in good timely fashion. So 21 laps to go at 2 minutes each. There's roughly about 40 minutes of this race.
There's that car number 19, which we haven't seen in a long time.
Good to see it out.
Yeah.
Has it got any duct tape on it? Probably. Haven't seen many shunts today either, actually. There was that little kiss earlier on, right at the start. But that's the dangerous time when so many cars are so close together, as you said.
Fadil Alang, who has taken over the wheel from the Papaya Pay Racing, he seems to be faring better. Competitive in lap times.
Oh, that's good.
He's closed the gap a little bit.
It's too late now, obviously, to...
Too late, but doing enough for that podium finish.
I mean, it's never too late in the fact that if anything happened to any of those HMR T cars, in that they stopped.
As hard as it is to see now, anything could happen because they are right behind car number 26.
I mean, if either of the HMRT cars stopped dead, DNF, then that 1 minute 32 becomes nothing. So it is worth continuing just for that, based on their reliability over the season. I'm saying that's not likely going to happen. It could happen, but anything could happen. So to be in third and a consolidated third, because they're actually 30 seconds ahead of Tedco Racing. So
that's quite a buffer.
It is a buffer, and also for a third spot, you're going to get 20 points.
20 points, yeah.
From from the weekend, which is still more than you'd get if you won an MTCC round, that'll be 15 points. So if you're in the top 3, once again, we're getting to the consolidation stage. I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if Avia Baha and Aaron Lim's Honda Malaysia racing team leading car starts lapping a couple of seconds slower. What's the point? You don't need to be pushing the envelope when you're 11 seconds ahead of your teammate, who is 1.5 minutes ahead of everybody else.
And judging by how they have been playing it this season, I think this is just going to be the same in terms of standing. Car number 26 is not going to push to try and overtake 27.
That's what I mean. The second car is not trying to catch you.
Yeah.
So
there's no competition coming from car number 26. So car number 27 is pretty much out there on its own.
And both of them together as a team, as we've seen them running, have shown that they are 1 minute and 21 seconds faster overall with strategy than the next competitor. That's what you take away for S1K, because you can multiply that by 10 in S1K. You get 10 minutes ahead of that Papaya Pay racing team. And so these are the little indicators and little kind of leads that you get from this 300-kilometer race that you can then take into November for the big one. 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Oh wow, Adi Rahimi, James Russell have actually now find themselves in second place. They were as low as 13 earlier.
How has that happened?
That's a huge jump, Jeff. That's got to be the jump of the weekend.
You know what? I think that's got to be they've read the 2 pit windows perfectly. The only way you can jump that far that quickly is if you went and you got your pit window entrance and exits absolutely right. So I'm guessing now, because we didn't actually see the modern racing team go in, but to jump from 13th to 3rd, and they're only 18 seconds back off.
Yeah, they're only 18
leader.
seconds.
That means I actually really do think. Let's just look at their times. I mean, I think they've done really well, and we were talking about how we expected more from them as well. What they didn't have in speed, and they didn't have in on-track racecraft, looks like they had in strategy. Now there's 4 cars in the pits right now. The last one's in the pit window. So we haven't got the full classification yet, but certainly up at the top we know what's going on. And that is Avia Baha and Aaron Lim are 12 seconds ahead of their teammates, who are 1 minute 22 seconds ahead of, essentially, in fact they're 1 minute 10 seconds ahead of everybody else. And Papaya Pay in 3rd are also 32 seconds ahead of Fuyong Chia, who is that a whole lap? Yes, a whole lap ahead of Ken Wu and Russell Tan. That's MTC done. A little bit more competitive in MT2G with 19 laps to go. That's, remember, within 1 round of MTCC on a normal weekend. The top 5 cars in MT2G are separated by only 12 seconds. So, that's very doable. With 19 laps to go, it's very probable that there's going to be a change. So maybe Adi Rahimi and James Russell used their pit strategy to get up to, say, 6th in class, and then turned on the jets and went through them, because it's only 10
but
seconds.
They did it in quick fire fashion, because
they did.
There's less than half an hour that they jumped that many spots.
I also think they probably benefited from a blind spot in terms of what we've been watching, because we didn't even pick it up. That's the thing. And in MT2V, well, DV Motorsport are 40 seconds ahead of Axworks, Li Qihua and Lester Lian, who are in themselves 5 seconds, actually, just 5 seconds ahead of Axel Sport. So Genevieve and Raja Amarul could make a charge for 2nd spot in MT2V.
These are our current MTC leaders, but by the rate that they are going and the position that they are in, they will not be enough for them to hang on to top spot. And that would mean Aaron Lim and Avila Baha, who only made their debut in the last round, would now become the new leaders as a result of picking up 30 points, which would put them on 65 points.
But what will be the difference in points going into round 4?
So that would give them 65 points. For 5th place, if Kenwu and Russell Tan remain in this position, that would give them 10 points. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be an action-packed round 4.
So, yeah, exactly. It's going to be so tight at the top, and I think that's when we will actually see the real battle happen.
Right, well, Mark Chu is a familiar name around here, and he works as a driver for Kuras Motorsports. Let's talk to him down in the pits with the guys.
Mark Chu, one of the drivers from car number 7 from Kuros. Mark, looking at yourself, such a testing conditions out there, man. Share with us, how was it?
Oh, it's extremely hard, obviously very difficult. But the racing today, we have some close competitors with us, so the racing is very tight, which made the situation even more heated than normal. So yeah, luckily before we went out, we drank plenty of water, plenty of energy drinks, and at least it's better than raining.
At least it's better raining, of course. I mean, this kind of condition, granted, it's super hot, but it tests your ability from every aspect, actually. I do want to go back to round number 2, though. Unfortunately, due to some track limits issues that you and Kenny actually had, that 3rd place podium was taken away from you. Have you learned from that experience, at least coming down for this endurance race?
Oh, definitely. I mean, for this race, we have a sticker on the steering wheel saying watch track limits. And but you know, Kenny and I, even though we lost the place, we're very happy about the Japan, the enforcement. You know, it's actually a good thing for racing overall. Make sure everything is properly enforced, so people don't get away with anything.
Great to hear that, because at the end of the day, fairness is everything when it comes to racing. We want to be as best as we possibly can. One more question though. You actually said it just now that you believe Kenny being the faster racer or whatnot. So what was your strategy then? The fact that he went out first and you coming in second, is it because he's just that darn fast?
Yeah, he's very fast. He's just come off a race in Belgium and Spa, so he's brought a lot of experience with it. At the end of the day, our strategy was very flexible. So it depends on, he was the starter, where the position was, where we would be after the pit window opened, and then we adjust accordingly.
All right, so obviously you need your rest. I'm going to leave you to it. Chance, back to you.
Well, Mark Chu confirming exactly what I said at the start of the race, that they do have 4 markers in the ground based around the pit windows, and they see where they are at those things, and then kind of can see how the race is evolving. So,
yeah, and
but it's consolidation now for sure. I would be very surprised to see any of the competitors pushing at this stage, unless it's something that you're 0.2 seconds back and is worth doing. But in terms of the big example, obviously, Faisal and Hedra, 1:32 back, 1 minute 32 seconds back. So that is 92 seconds back, 18 laps to go.
There seems to be a bit of an issue with car 26. I'm not sure if it's just a regulatory check, but
well, they don't usually lift the bonnet for a regular check. So that's actually the first time I've seen that bonnet raised. But look, maybe they are actually just checking the temperature of the car.
Well, if they get out in the within that 5 minutes,
this is it. Watch what this guy does, because basically, if he goes deep diving into that engine, then there might be a problem. And while that happens, the KGI racing team are awaiting us in the pits.
Here with car number 69. Of course, his partner is out on the tracks. I'm here with Ahmad Firdaus. And actually, if you guys don't know, KGIA Racing Team is their first ever race for the season, for the MTCC 2026 season. And Firdaus, you're not a stranger to MTCC. How are you transitioning from your previous races to this representing your team right now?
My previous races is with Pro Shop. So I'm driving Suzuki Swift. Then this year quite challenged because we're driving Honda Jazz. Quite competitive.
So do you think your team has prepared you for a lot for the race, or anything you guys need to improve further? Of course, the team is very new to MTCC. Were there any challenges? Do you think they are well prepared for the season?
Currently, the car prepared in 10 days. So, yeah, 10 days. So, not enough time to test the car. And then we managed to race, then we test the car with the race.
Because right now you mentioned you baru prepare like 10 days kan, and this is like a 2.5 hours, 300-kilometer endurance race. You rasa kereta ni sekarang like they boleh withstand all the pressure and everything? Is it going very well for you?
Yeah, everything going well now. So hopefully until this race, going well.
And your partner, Hariri, have you actually raced with him before? Because I think we've not seen you guys much on screen and we want to see more action from you guys. How is your partnership dengan Hariri?
Hariri is racing in Bios Challenge. Then hopefully they can manage one DCC race.
Are you looking to finish the race today?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, this is going to bring up points for the entire season as well. So I really wish you guys the best. I want to see more of AJIA Racing Team during the MT1600 season as well. Good luck to you. Good luck to Hariri. Back to Nick and G.
Right, there we have Ahmad Firdaus making their debut. Of course, trying to get the best position this season.
10-day-old car.
Yeah.
Car's been, you know.
So a lot of R&D. This race itself is an R&D for them. But of course, looking to finish the race. That's first and foremost. Currently 12th position. And while Irene was interviewing Firdaus, there had been some developments with regards to Axel Sports, Jiva. They were given some penalty.
Well, Axel Sports, yes, Genevieve, Henrietta, that number 18 car has got 30 seconds added to its overall time, which means it's now effectively out of that fight that we were watching, which was, you know, just 2.2 seconds between them. It's not going to be added now, as I said, it's going to be added post-race, but anything they do on track for the next 16 laps, you can effectively add 30 seconds to it. Cars, the pit window, as you've seen, has looked like it's completely open. Now cars are coming in, almost forced into the middle part of the pit window because they were so close. And Avia Baha and Aaron Lim are in for their second pit stop. Oh, surprise! Laiwi Singh and Mohammed Faris are also in for their second pit stop. And both are now on their out laps. So
yeah, that was the car 26 that we saw earlier. I think there was no issues on the car. It was just a mandatory check, and they are already out on the out lap.
505 and 503 and 507, fantastic pit stops. And now, as I said, they with the 5-minute stop, complete dead stop, they went down to 5th and 6th, and now they're out first. So they're gonna again bounce up like a cork in water to most probably 1st and 2nd. I'm thinking it should be, with that 1:32, it should be, with about 8 laps to go. Perfect. That's exactly where you want to be, right?
Is it safe to say that we can already begin to look at them for a 1-2 finish, barring any miracles?
Yeah, I'm the only thing that's going to stop them from winning 1-2 today is an engine problem if it stops. And,
a car malfunction.
Yeah, and the stats that we've seen so far this season would point otherwise. They haven't stopped.
No, they have not.
They've never stopped. So, you know, when they've got into a position, they have dominated, and that's exactly what they've done today.
In fact, interestingly, Laiwi Singh and Muhammad Faris actually finished second in race 2, but post-race, they were bumped down to 4th. So there was some issues there, and second place was given to the Papaya Pay Racing Team.
Okay, so there are more. There's another 30-second time infringement for. This is all for track limits, by the way. For car 993, Motul Art in MT2V, they were running 5th in class. You can add another 30 seconds on for them as well. So, as I said, you know, this ominous thing at the end. Car 99 now reset. It's basically a reset on an entirely new part of the classification because you just put a couple of wheels out regularly. That's the thing. Something that HMRT have not done. And Avia Bahas has put in a faster sector 1 as well, so they're actually pushing for the last 15 laps. Why do they need to? They're in a golden position, but I think that car's probably got a good few laps left in it.
This car just, I think that was Fazil Alang finishing his stint in the car. We saw Hendra earlier looking to get in.
With all due respect to Papaya Pay, I think Fazil Alang and Hendra Adiputra, I think that car has reached close to its maximum amount of laps it can do.
And they should be happy with
with third place fully. The HMRT cars look like they could probably keep going for another half hour after this race ends. Because look at them, they're just so solid. They're not, showing any kinds of. Look at the lap times. Let's see, it's 2:32. Wow, it's another 2:32. Avia Bahas matched. No, it's just 300 seconds shorter than the one he's put in before, but he's hit 2:32 twice now.
Twice, yeah.
Once at the beginning of the race and once near the end. Coincidence? I don't think so. Why we Singh and Mohammed Fariz, on the other hand, have put in a 2:34. That's still not exactly slow.
It's still the two fastest car on track.
It's not dragging your feet in any way.
In fact, I think what would be amazing is for Irene and Mia to speak to the team of the HMRT.
I think they will do at the podium. Yeah. It'll be at the podium after
the team manager, the mechanics, because we want to know the science that goes behind the setup and the approach of this team. For them to do it over one race is fine, but they have now done it over the course of 3 races.
That's why they won't tell you. It's the 11 secret spices which have lasted for 50
they don't
years.
have to disclose everything, but give us some sort of insight.
I think you could probably, if you watch the team just in the pit stops and around.
Finally comes in Fazil.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with coming in now at all. It's just, at this point, you're kind of set in concrete. Everything you did before is going to affect what you do now. So you can't win the race from here because of the 1:32 that has already been built up. So what do? You're going to come in, you have to keep the basic markers, and you're going to try and hope that, let's see what. Well, we can't see now because of the classification's kind of been messed up because of the pit window being open. But they were about 32 seconds ahead of 4th place. That's going to be their focus now. 32 seconds is doable in 14 laps. You could do it. It would take a phenomenal drive and a lot of pushing, yes, but you could do it. 1:32, you definitely can't do. That's half the lap.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy to try and push that Honda, especially given the problems that it has faced.
You need teleportation to get from half the lap to lap turn 7 to turn 14 at once, and then it's gone. Look at that patient, calm, waiting to get back in. All these little things that drivers have to do that people don't pay enough attention to. It takes focus, time, and energy to do different things.
Wow, this is the first time I'm seeing a pit stop penalty that's cancelled. A change of mind?
First complaint. It could be more evidence turned up. That's great news if that can happen.
Great news for Daniel Reynold and Justin.
It also highlights and shows exactly how fair race control actually is. They don't just, it's a constant investigation, and the more kind of evidence comes in, and you get more evidence in a longer race, then you might get overturned. And we said yesterday it was a perfect race by not having a full course yellow. We only had one for like 7 seconds here this year, or this day.
Actually, this year in itself, we've not had many full course yellow. Even when I did the first round.
That's a testament to the drivers.
I don't remember it being a prolonged stop to the race as compared to previous years.
Full course yellows I've seen have been 100% directly caused by the weather. In that the weather...
That's out of the competitors' hands.
Yes, they become... So the weather caused the flood at turn 15. The first car went off. That hit the second car, third car, and then...
issues, right?
So basically you end up having 4 cars off, but the direct cause of it was the weather. Now, we've had full course yellows that were direct cause from drivers, driving into other cars. We haven't seen that because they've all respected each other very well. These two cars, of course. Oh no, I thought that was the other HMRT. It's not. Where? That's odd. Just one HMRT. Where's the other one gone? That doesn't seem right. You know you're in trouble when.
Live Singh is there. He's on our screens, but he seems to have dropped off 20 seconds behind.
I think it's a back marker thing. I think
he certainly dropped off the pace. 19 seconds behind.
I think the 27 has been cutting through the back markers a little bit smoother.
There we have it. Right,
yeah, I think there he is, right
top
at the back.
of our screens.
2:43.117. No full course yellow. I told you he'd slow down. 2:43.117. Oh, that's not. Sorry, that's not HMRT. 2:33 is what they're on. They're not slowing down at all. That's Fadsil, in fact, in the pit. That was his last lap.
There we have it.
10 seconds slower.
This would probably be Mohammad Faris back behind the wheel.
The third place, Papaya are lapping 10 seconds a lap slower than the HMRT cars. 2:43 and 2:33. And that's where that 1 minute, 23 seconds has turned up from. It's been hard earned. There's been no luck involved at all. Their pace is just unbelievable when compared to the rest of the division.
Looking at the MT2G, we have Suchipo, Aung Yuan Wei. They were leading at the start, and they've done well to keep that position. Freddie Aung Chonchin bumped up one spot, and Hakimi and Asfa. Even though this is not a true reflection because of all the pits.
Yeah, you should wait another couple of laps. But in terms of Sun Jupo, for sure, to keep a 13-second advantage with 13 laps to go in a very tight division, that's really good, really good. And let's look at MT. Well, again, we'll wait 2 laps before we get to the classifications. Right now, Papaya Pay is off. They're out. Given the green card release from the pit lane. And for them, it is now an individual race. In marathon running, we call it an isolation run, where you are essentially running just to make sure you finish. Just finish that car in third.
I
take the 20 points.
I'm interested to see how Hendra would approach this. Yes, I think the message would be like you just mentioned, just finish the race. Don't take too much of risk.
You're risking way too much if you push it, because if that car breaks down, you get nothing. So the best thing you can do is keep a constant pace, keep it ticking over nicely, and get your 20 points. 20 points as opposed to nothing. That's what it's all about in the end. Track limits. Still. That is the number 15 Tedco racing car, Fung Yongcho, which was actually logged as being in the lead, but again, that's not really reflective. And now we get into the final part of the race. The last 13 laps, no more pit windows, no more pit stops. You're hoping you've got enough fuel in the car. You're hoping your tires are at least sticky enough that they're going to give you enough traction. But this is splash and dash, race to the finish from here. HMRT would have had a strategy so that even if they were 5 or 6 seconds ahead, they'd have enough tools at their disposal to fire off. Thankfully, they don't need to. They've got the 2 minutes
they just built a comfortableness, and it's going to be cruise control.
Everything went well for them. Everything. Mogan Team TDK that were at 32 seconds before are now at 1 minute 13 seconds, or is that an hour and 13?
Hour and 13. They've not come out of the pits.
Yeah, that's an hour and 13 minutes.
They will get the record for longest pit. And second would be the team just in front of them.
So they basically, which are on 32 minutes. Basically, Mogan Team has completed just 15 laps. That means that's actually going to affect their classifications, because you do have to complete 70% of the race to be logged on as a finisher. And they're not going to be doing that with 1 hour, 13 minutes in the pits. And that's not just been watching the car. You're just feverishly working on that car, trying to figure out what's wrong with it and get it out, and it didn't work. So that's another thing that you picked up for S1K. We need to get better at diagnosing cars. You can't lose an hour.
Yeah, and so early in the race as well.
Let's just say some things.
They were hit with a 30-second penalty, and right after that, this was the setback, car setback. They've been in the pits longer than they've out on track.
So, Avir Baha and Aaron Lim are for the third time going to ascend right now into top spot. The other two times were, you guessed it, the pit windows.
Pit window has been open for an extraordinary
So they have literally never been, they may have seemed to have been behind, but they have never been behind in terms of pace throughout two pit windows.
Yeah, I mean, just look at their last lap times, 2:33. And live is saying 2 seconds behind.
1 second faster than the 2:32 they put on.
But
no other car.
Look at Papaya pace, last lap time.
Yeah, I think that's an outlap thing. I was looking at that. I don't think that's a major problem. That'll correct itself in a minute and 15 seconds when they cross if they have to cross the transponder line at the start line before things. So that's why it's 2 or 3 laps after the pit window for everything to settle down. And that should be it. Everyone's now done 2 or 3 in terms of pits. So everyone's been in. Once all the P's and O's on this side of our screen disappear, then we will have, with about 10 laps to go, our final classifications. And I can tell you now, it's going to be a 1-2 for HMRT. It's not sticking my neck out. It's in no way guessing. It's just the truth, revealing what they've done very well.
The only difference from earlier is that car 27 has pulled away just a little bit from its sister car, 25 seconds.
Even then, you know, could you call it pulling away when neither of them needed to be? You know, you could add another 20 seconds on that. It's not going to make you could add a minute on that. It's not going to make a blind bit of difference. Now, car 69 at turn 12, lap 38. Again, 5th time. It's after 5 track limit infringements, you get the 30 seconds added on. So now that's got to be the most common adjudication that we've seen throughout this race, because people just are not paying attention, or they're pushing too far. But
that was Hariri and Ahmad Firdaus, whom Irene spoke to earlier.
So we've seen that that penalty go out to at least 4 cars now. Obviously, if it goes out to another 20 cars, then it's not a penalty anymore, because everybody's been pushed back 30 seconds. But it is very common, and for all the warnings that they got, I just wouldn't have expected.
I mean, if it's one, 2 warnings, and you're still not paying attention, you can boil it down to the heat of the moment.
Okay,
but if it's 5 times,
it was 6 warnings, and then you did it 5 times, and that's why you got the penalty. So it's actually 11 times that you didn't heed it, and that seems to be pretty fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Is this for position? That can't be for
and
position.
we have confirmation the pit window is finally closed.
So it is.
Which you will see on your screens real soon.
So 11 laps to go. It's going to be the shootout to the end. We need to find out the numbers of those cars. That looks like they were jousting for
That's
position.
Statco car number 15. That's Fu Yong Che, Yi Kok Jun.
Well, why would he be doing that if he's, I mean, it's 91 and 90, so that is Sun Chu Po, that is and Jonathan Z, that is for position, that is for MT2G top spot.
This has to be one of the more exciting battles for position happening right now.
After both pit windows, they have come out this close. It is for position. There's 0.2 of a second between these two, and it's for 2nd and 3rd in MT2G as Mohammed Hakimi, and in fact it's first because Mohammed Hakimi and Mohammed Asfar from Argentina are in the pits. So this is a battle for 1st and 2nd that suddenly appeared, and that's why they're moving like that, which is of course putting a lot of pressure on the cars. Who will win it? 11 laps to go. We've got
look at that. Ooh.
We've got
I don't know if that's Z behind the wheel.
It looks like Z is in the
91.
91 car. Yeah, that is Z behind. So Z is attack. But,
we've just been presented with the ultimate battle. 11 laps to go.
Z in this position is like putting a piece of chicken in front of a crocodile. That's it. He's now going to go. He's now going to spend the next 11 laps pushing this car because he's that close. But as I said, if you can do it, by all means do it.
Yeah, this is the perfect position. This is called risk-taking, not even measured. It's a no-brainer.
Both have to get through the back markers, and so Sun Chupo and Bay Racing have, or is that Sun Chupo? I'm going to say Bay Racing have got through. They can now hope that Jonathan Z takes a little bit longer to get past that back marker and get some daylight going. He is, look, he's held up a little bit. Oh, that's frustrating.
Wow, that's bumper to bumper.
Really
My goodness.
Oh, look at that. That's not, is that for position as well? Adi Rahimi in fourth. Yes, it is. So the MT2G category is the one that's on fire, and they had to touch. And in the end, it's the back marker. Black Wolf Racing
we
team.
Definitely want to see that again. I don't know if there's a touch from
Daniel Ren Oi and Justin Toe in that
91
car have taken a bit of a toll.
You can't blame this Bay Racing team. They were also jostling for positions in third place.
Well, to be honest, if he was a back marker and the leaders were coming through, you're supposed to get off the racing line and let them go through. So if he got touched by one of the leaders coming through, actually he didn't evacuate the line quick enough, because that is
it's confirmation of what happened.
It's not unspoken either. You know, it's a rule, it's a regulation.
So you can see the braking done there by car 91.
He was caught in the middle, sandwiched, didn't have anywhere to go, and in the end just got tipped off. So a bit unlucky for that 77 car, but questions as to whether they got off and out of the way of the leaders quick enough. Oh, we do have a DNF. Light Racing team has stopped. The reliability wall has been hit. And let me just see exactly where they were. That's, yeah, they're 1 minute 30 seconds off where they're supposed to be. They were 13th in MT2G. So unfortunately, the truth is, not significant, not critical.
And even car 71, our Bangladesh team, Tawhid Anwar and Zafran Ramadi, they've also been in pit for over 40 minutes.
Wow.
That's another team who does not look to be finishing.
So Tawhid Anwar's nightmare season of 2026.
Yeah, so unfortunate for him. Just 2 points on the board. Does not seem like he's going to get any this weekend.
Yeah, very skilled driver. Used to drive in the Dubai International Series and
various regional championships.
You know, you pick up a lot of experience. He's very much like Bangladesh's version of Mitchell Chia.
Yeah.
For us, Mitchell Chia is a regional champion as well as a national champion. And let's hope for better situation from him next year. Now that isn't. Oh, I think that's Adi Rahimi in the 268
Yes, this is for second place.
So Johnny Z has been, or Kwek Kanri has been caught by their shirt tails right at the end.
Yeah, Bay Racing has pulled away. Somehow has found a breather.
It was because of 77 car. And now Johnny Z is defending as aggressively as he attacks. Is that Johnny Z in the car? That looks like his helmet. Yeah, I think it is. It is. It's the gold helmet. Like a dog with a bone. Just doesn't give up that line unless he has to. Still in with a shout, by the way, because all of these cars are within 2 seconds of each other. 9 laps to go. Very easy line. In fact,
looking to dip on the inside, Johnny.
Looks on the inside, gets half a car length, and pulls it off. Well done. Well done. He'll keep that because that's exact same car, no straight line advantage. He should keep it.
I think Adi Rahimi might have the advantage here coming into turn 1.
His wipers are on. Why are his wipers on? Wide line.
Going wide early on.
And Adi Rahimi is solid in the inside. That means it's going to be nice to set up for the switchback. This is where you got to turn and defend that apex while keeping those wheels on the black stuff. So, he's just been track limit warning on turn 12 on that previous lap. So Adi Rahimi also facing a possible 30-second addition if that was his 5th infringement.
What it's done for Bay Racing, who found themselves under severe pressure.
So,
that cars 878 has just come in.
by the way, we've now hit the 2 laps I was talking about, and the final classification for the leaders, Avir Bahar Aaron Lim's HMRT 27 car, 30 seconds now. They were 12 seconds ahead of their teammates, 30 seconds ahead of their teammates, who are 1.5 minutes ahead fully of Fadzal Al Henry. It's just got more and more. They haven't given up 1 inch of territory. They've only claimed more. So that's the best R&D you can take.
I don't think car 27 has gone slower than a 234. They've been so consistent with the 232.
Let's put it this way. Every time we've looked up at that lap time, it's been 233, 234.
Yeah, it's just
so
alternating.
even if they did miss a few laps, I would say of the 54 laps, at least 30 of them have been at 233, 234.
The average is 233. I think we can safely deduce that.
Then you are going to be, on the podium. You're going to be somewhere, in it to win it is the term. And you put the fastest lap of 232 in. So that car has performed perfectly well in every sense of the word. It's on 46 laps, 8 laps left to go for it. And just based on the stats of this race alone, it should complete those without problem. Should. Perfect lap times, pit times 5:03, 5:07. So the team's working really well as well. Refueling was fine. Tires was fine. No issue. No headline.
No,
either one
nothing.
Of them.
It's like a perfect machine that just kept ticking throughout the course of this race.
A perfect machine that is operated by about 20 humans, which is what makes it amazing. It's not, it's not a computer that does it. These guys have all been on the same page and kept those cars in mint condition. Fully deserve the 1-2 win, HMRT, and I'm running out of words it's superlatives about them in terms of their debut at MTCC and the approach and the results.
Meanwhile, Adi Rahimi is still holding a minor advantage here. It could be James Russell, even modern racing team.
Yeah, for modern racing team, it's over the Scubas, but Soonju Po, Bay Racing, have put a 4-second gap between all of this nonsense.
Car 77.
For a second, it looked like they were going to concede.
That's what I was saying. It was intense pressure and then immediate moment of relief, which allowed them to pull away. And now they've been given a chance to look to consolidate their top spot and leave these two to battle it out.
Exactly the sentiment. Why get involved in all sorts of scraps? There was that famous quote about the Matrix, which was, it's all well and good dodging bullets, but if you're really smart, you'd miss the gunfight. And that's what they've done, and that's what HMRT have done. They literally removed themselves of all the other problems by being a minute ahead of them.
And in the MT2V, got to give credit, immense credit to Team DV Motorsport, the 190 car. That was a great move tactically as well, because Parajun decided that Brandon Paul, who is the faster driver, should do the earlier stint and he'd take on the second stint. And I think it's now down to Brandon to finish it home.
Certainly haven't said enough about that. That decision of who is faster is not necessarily based on lap times, it's based on a general idea. So that is a choice that you're making, it's a subjective choice, and you might get it right, you might get it wrong, but even then HMRT have known which driver should be in the car at which time. And as you said, quietly gone about their business, and their business is very clear, being at least 30 seconds faster than you. 3 greens in the middle of our classification board. MT2G 4 to 6 in class. That's Sakudo X, Bay Racing, and Mark Darwin and Luke Neto, who have posted some good times with 7 laps left to go.
But they're not out of the woods yet. That's because or rather not, they have actually quite a healthy advantage. I'm looking at the closest competitor in the MT2V would be Kuras Motorsports.
Oh yeah,
That's about a 30-second buffer which they have.
MT2V is set in stone. DV Motorsport should.
So the only battle that's active and exciting at this point is the battle unfolding on our screens right now.
Yeah. But that's the nature of the race. That's not the nature of the drivers.
It's always the MT2G simply because also it's the largest representation.
Do you remember how in football they say that when you get to the final, it's usually 1-0 because everybody's playing defensive? There's a common strategy you use when you get to the end of things. And the most logical strategy at the end of this race is to take your foot off the pedal to stop fighting because you want to conserve your points. You want to put them in the safest position.
Yeah, and I think that's the case for most of these teams, most of these leaders who have already consolidated.
Definitely the podium positions in MTC.
You talk about the MTC and the MT2V.
Well, there's some communication from race control coming out. We haven't seen any adjudications. It might just be actually informing people as to when the last lap is actually going to be.
We'll get confirmation of that.
We're getting close to that soon. It's all based on a timing thing. It'll be, I said, usually 54 plus leader. And that is going to come down to very accurate calculation of 300 kilometers. So they tell us and we'll tell you as to which, still, I said 5 laps off or 4 laps away, but certainly getting ready for it. But the top 3 in MTC, absolutely not going to change. You could even say the top 4 because there's about a 20-second lap, a 20-second gap between 3rd and 4th. In MT2G, there's 6 seconds between the top 3. Yeah. Right? I mean, that can change, even with 6 laps
It's
to
the
go.
most fierce battle.
Yeah. And MT2V, there is a good, solid chunk of laps between 1st, DV Motorsport, 2nd, Kuras Motorsports, and 3rd, Axeworks. And congratulations to all 3 of them, by the way.
Yeah, they look set in stone to get on the podium later on.
That looks like that podium's already written itself. And as I said, MTC podium has already written itself. It is sad to say that because, nothing else can happen for the next 6 laps. But it's also great to say that you can win before the end.
Yeah, because of all the work that you have done, the preparation that you've done. Of course, we are still speaking too soon because anything can happen in the next 6 laps.
But it's highly improbable. So as I said, it's dramatic to have finishes which come down to the last corner. But it shouldn't. If you're really good at what you do, you should win this race.
Yeah, of course.
With 5 laps to go, 7 laps to go.
If something happens, it won't be down to the drivers. It will be down to the car. It could be a car malfunction. It could be an engine blowout.
But
those
again,
kind of issues would pop up.
If we went to the HMRT engineers right now and said, could that happen? They'd go look at the stats this year.
I think we got to put HMRT aside. HMRT have been exception to the rule.
There's this thing, it's like a natural fear that something could go wrong, but it's always disarmed by stats. And when you've got stats that are as good as these, then yes, I agree with you. It could be the start of a bad run. It could be the first stat, right? And it could happen here. But most of the time, if you just keep playing the numbers, which is 233, 235 in terms of lap, why should anything else be different? They'll now, as I said, they clear air in front of them, clear air behind them, clear air in terms of timing. They don't have to speed up or slow down. So they can pick what they know is the optimal speed and output for the last 5 laps and be untroubled.
And this Papaya Pay Racing team, I think they'll be happy as well to complete the race first and foremost because they've had a history of not being able to get that car across the finish line.
Yeah, but also these team managers and these teams are very pragmatic when it comes to what information they can get from this race. So they will know they are 20 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, so they'll be happy with it. Yeah, they'll be happy to consolidate that spot.
HMRT in S1K, based on this performance, multiply this by 8 times, will be about 5 minutes ahead of them. And they know that. So they've got 3 months, essentially, from now to try and not bridge that gap. Maybe you want to do it, but at least try to make some inroads into it, because the very best strategy that they put out, that they've tried, has led to HMRT being 34 seconds ahead of them. And it's not good or bad, it's just a fact. It's just a fact.
The only combination that perhaps may go home disappointed is Ken Wu and Russell Tan. They found themselves on podium 4 times, but it just not worked out for them today.
Well, there might just be another full course yellow coming in the last 5 laps. There's some debris that's been just seen at in the middle of the turn, and there's also some pit stop discussions happening about an unsafe incident. As we said before, the Malaysia Touring Car Championship, like a lot of touring car championships, is subject to changes post-race. So there can be new information. So it happens regularly. It's happened on many.
And it's reflected in the points as well.
So we will come out and say, okay, this guy's won, this guy's won, but then it might be half an hour after the race, even a day after the race, that classification changed. I remember Leona Chin actually won the entire title based on a revised.
Because there was some penalty infringement. Right. And from 4th, she found herself as champion.
So another, great example of how you should just try and get yourself into the highest possible position, because you never know what's going to happen next. Now that is 2:08. Of course, all these cars now on their last laps. That's Ken Wu and Russell Tan. That is the car you talk about. 5th in MTC. 1 minute 51, almost 2 minutes behind the HMRTs.
I think it's the first time I've seen car 27 lap at a 2:35. Probably the slowest they've got in 20 laps.
If you really want to do it, I'll put a 2:51 in. You'll still win. You will still win at a 2:51. To be honest, that might actually break the car suddenly going that slowly. So they've bounced a yo-yo between 2:33 and 2:35 throughout the entire afternoon. And just put that cherry on the cake, the 2:32 on top of all of it.
Yeah, but identical 2:32s from HMRT 27.
Yeah, and that's the other worrying thing. Both cars operating so eerily similar.
Yeah, just mirroring each other.
The team knows what to do to set them up. The team knows what to do if things go wrong. Car number 18, that's Genevieve again, is getting more of a track limit. Well, she's already got a 30-second penalty.
And that's an addition to that.
It's going to be another 30 seconds. I'm not even going to go there. But with 4 laps left to go, we are getting very close now to the end of the race, obviously, but that calculation as to what will be the last lap, we will let you know as soon as we do. Tawid Anwar and Zafan Ramadi, 28 laps.
Yeah, they've been in the pits almost an hour.
5 minutes. That's the other thing that happens at S1K as well. You get pit stops that can last hours. So yes, what kind of information can these teams pick up from this little endurance race compared to that one? The things that make endurance races, hour-long pit stops. That's one of the main ones. But on top of that, keeping that consistent pace for 60% of your laps. So how many laps is S1K? 81?
181.
181, that's right. So 60% of that is going to be for about 120 laps. 100 odd laps, you have to keep race pace.
Oh, that's a blow for Nizar Racing car number 24. We see a question mark next to them, Ethan Sito and Ananton.
Oh no, that is a shame. 29 laps completed,
so
that's also
dropped
gone.
quite a fair bit.
Yeah, that's essentially half the tally of laps that has been completed by our leader, who's now back up to a 2:34. Set doesn't have to go any faster. None of his sector times are glowing purple. Nobody, in fact, look, Nick, nobody's sector time is glowing purple or green.
They're all taking it easy.
They're all consolidating. They're all consolidating at what time they're doing. And I think this is going to be the way it's going to be. 5 seconds is now the gap between Bay Racing and Modern Racing Team in MT2G. who are just 1 second ahead of Johnny Z. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the battle.
Modern Racing doing extremely well to just maintain this position.
Let's focus on this. We've got 3 laps to go. There's 0.3 of a second between them. Who do you think is going to finish second, and who do you think is going to finish third?
If that's Z behind the wheel, I think he's going to make a push in the last lap.
One extra piece of information for you. Z is lapping 0.074 faster than.
So he's closing in. That lead is going to get even closer.
It's going to be tight though at that one. If he was lapping a full second ahead, I could see him pushing against the back bumper. But you know, he's in a similar car. He's going to have to find a very crafty way. But that is the difference between 24 points and 20 points right on your screen right now with
yes.
3 laps to go.
And in the context of the halfway stage of the MTCC, that 4 points
could make a
huge difference.
As I said, if you can do something, by all means go and do it. Now, how does Johnny Z, in an exact similar car, push himself to get past? You know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to brake late into turn 1. Look how close he is. He's gone wide. He's going to come in like a hawk.
Modern Racing Team will stick to their principles and keep that.
He's going to look for the switchback. Johnny Z is in prime position to now try. He hasn't got the pull. He hasn't got a different car.
Yeah, he kept it tight. B Racing kept it tight, or rather Modern Racing. So these Modern Racing Team current leaders in the MT2G, 52 points. And if they finish in second, that would give them 76 points.
So here's Johnny at turn 5 trying on the outside.
It's quite far for...
He knows he's got to try. I mean, his next natural attempt is going to be at 9 and 10. 60 seconds added for unsafe relief from the pit stop. Car 19. That is...
So in the context of the championship, it's quite difficult for car number 91 to make up ground.
Divyesh Brajan and Harkish Kiva just got a 60-second penalty on top of their...
After spending almost an hour in the pit.
You know what it was? Unsafe release from the pit stop. So after that hour, the release, how they got the car out of the pit, cost them another minute. They were never destined.
Their misery.
Now look at how close Johnny Z is. He's priming himself here for something spectacular.
Final lap, G. He's going to go all out in the final lap, and hopefully the car will agree with him.
Well, it would be safer for him to try and take him earlier, and he looks like he's getting into position for it. So this is where Adi Rahimi's recently learned. It's Adi Rahimi behind the wheel.
Should be Adi Rahimi.
His recently learned racing skills are going to have to come into handy because he's defending against Johnny Z. 4 points. For 4 points, in fact. Same car, essentially. Johnny having a look on the outside.
He's really gunning the throttle down this stretch.
He hasn't got half a car. He's not going to do that. So... right down the center for Ali Rahimi, and Johnny's not going to have the pull here either. So that looks like another lap safely defended. Ken Urata.
Oh wow, Henra Adiputra from the back.
I think he's going past him, isn't he? Yeah, he is going past him. And that's what I mean about them usually having to get out of the way. So the leader should be coming up to 2 laps left. That might be the last lap. No, we haven't heard it yet. 1 lap to go. So it is last lap. So in the end, 1 lap knocked off, and 15 corners are all that stand between the word perfection and HMRT.
Yeah, perfection in every sense.
Every sense of the word. Well done. And I know you're a news journalist. That's why I know that you kept in your head the idea that this car might break down. But look at it.
I know, I didn't say it would break down.
No,
There's
a chance. There is a chance. There is always a chance.
We cannot discount any possibility as long as they have not crossed the finish line, because we've seen it. We've seen it in the context of
I would have thought
Sepang 1000.
I would have thought the more viable situation is where another car hits that car and it stops.
If he could get close to that car.
It has to go through back markers. So, you know, if there was something that went wrong in that back marker,
correct.
and it clips the HMRT,
that could have been another possibility.
That's a far more, you know, kind of real possibility in terms of percentage, because the HMRT engine has been solid, the chassis has been solid, and it has been taking these corners as if it's gliding on a carpet of silk. Johnny Z, Adi Rahimi.
Oh wow, he's done it.
Markers,
Last lap. Last lap. Kept his cards until the last lap.
What a weekend Johnny Z has had. He won yesterday, and he's now stolen
he did
spot.
not have a championship in the MTCC coming into this weekend, and now he has back-to-back.
Yeah, it's...
If he can hold on.
I think the fact that he stole second spot on the last lap and won yesterday is enough. You don't even need a trophy for this one. This is, you know, this is a pub story that he basically followed for all that time in the similar car and still did it. He's had a wonderful weekend. No doubt about that.
Yeah, of course, we have to also mention Kwek Kian Wee. It's not just Johnny Z doing the business.
What we also have to mention is the fact that my voice has managed to last out.
And it's not just
laps.
Adi Rahimi, Jeev, it's also James Russell, who could well be behind the wheel, the modern racing team.
As I said, I have been pushed to a hoarse voice from this round 3. 600 kilometers in total with both races.
And there we have it. This is what you call perfection.
Yeah, it is solid.
Crossing the finish line.
And I'm going to go on record as saying, after our engineering's great history in MTCC and MCS, the strongest team on the track right now is on your screen.
Yeah.
Overall.
Just in evidence of what they've done over the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, they are really setting a new benchmark when it comes to lap times, when it comes to pit times, when it comes to general overall strategy. Wonderful.
It's as if they've said we'll allow the rest of the field to go and do their thing in the first round, and then we'll show them how it's really done and who can argue with them.
Yeah, and you know, it's also part of the transference of knowledge. Toyota Gazoo Racing, all that racing motorsport idea from Toyota funneled down to different championships. Honda, established racing mark in 2 wheels and 4 wheels, have come out, and all that racing knowledge has filtered down and is beginning to benefit this car as well. So all the other competitors coming through for the checkered flag, but being the Diamond Head standard race in the season, it's really about the top 3. And as we said, Avia Bar, Aaron Lim, Honda Malaysia Racing at 27 and 26. Up front, and Fadzil Alang did thankfully consolidate third at 142 afterwards.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. Papaya Pay to get that podium finish.
20 points. It's not a podium finish, it's 20 points. The battle is still on. Round 4 is coming up.
So HMRT on 65 points now. They are, of course, now the new leaders in the MTC category.
That is great. That there's been a couple of changes in terms of personnel.
Good weekend for the Papaya Pay as well. 20 points would give them 56 points.
Well, all these cars, once they have look at the fight there, Johnny Z and Adi Rahimi right at the death, and he pulls away. But so that's the finish of MT2G, isn't it?
Yes.
There you go, Ng Chong Ching and Freddie Young, the last to finish. So we've got the top 10 finishers in MT2G certified now, which is
Chipo
important.
Aun Yuan Wei winning that MT2G. Jonathan Z doing really well for himself to get that second spot. But you can hear the cheers, I'm sure. You can hear the adoration and the jubilation from this HMRT team. Aaron Lim, Avila Baha. Driven to perfection, a masterclass in driving. And greeted with adoration from the team. From the start, they did not let up. Took the lead from the first corner, and from then on, it's as if they knew that victory was theirs, and they never looked back. Literally never looked back. They just went on, hit another level, found a few extra gears, and claimed a third consecutive victory in the MTC category. Absolutely amazing. And this is the other car coming in tandem. Laiwi Seng and Muhammad Faris, equally as brilliant. What a celebration is going to be in this camp, the HMRT camp. Having completed 2 dream weekends since their debut only last month, they have just shown how it's done. And it's going to be a massive concern for the 4 other teams competing in this category to find a way past this HMRT duo. How are they going to do it? They've got 1 month to figure it out as we come to the conclusion of the MTCC season that's happening over the 3rd weekend of August. Round 4 will be taking place, and then of course after that we go into hibernation mode of sorts because the S1K will be taking place at the end of November. So there's 3 months break there. You can see Papaya Pay happy with their podium as well. And why wouldn't they be? Adi Rahimi doing enough to bring it home. Or rather, Hendra Adiputra claiming 20 precious points. That would be a 3rd podium for the Papaya Pay Racing, of course, winning the first race in round 1 and claiming a runner-up finish in the last race in round 2. All in all, it had been an excellent race in the MT1600 category. We did not have too much of an incident. The weather was absolutely immaculate. Apart from some penalties that was imposed. All right, we're going to go down to the pits to speak to car number 27.
Congratulations to our MTC Round 3 300 km endurance race winners, to the HMRT team, Avila Baha, and I have Aaron Lim here right next to me. Congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
How do you feel about this achievement? Because of course, enduring the 300 km race for 2.5 hours is not an easy task, certainly. How do you feel about the race?
Yeah, it was tough today with the weather. It was really hot. Thankfully, Avila did most of the driving today. I did the middle stint. Yeah, car felt good. The team did a great pit stop. So yeah, happy to take the win today.
Now, of course, even if we talk about the starting and the ending of the race is of course the most important, but keeping the strap on, the strategy on in the middle, that is actually a very important task throughout the race as well, because you have to keep the momentum going. And while you're passing it back to Avila, I think you did an amazing job so far. How do you think this is going to pan up for your round 4? Because that is going to be the last round for MTCC.
Well, we take it one race at a time. Now we have to look at where we are in the championship. But like I said at the start, the goal was to prepare the car for S1K. So that's going to be the main goal. So let's see. I mean, we try to win every race we take part in, but so far so good.
So far, so good indeed. Now, of course, the endurance race has brought so much into your standings in the overall as well. This is going to up your standings, shoot you guys up right there. Now, of course, as you mentioned, S1K is going to be your focus for the HMRT team. How do you think the car is doing? Do you think there's going to be a lot of improvement that still needs to be done?
Well, I think the car is quite where we want it to be in terms of setup. It's more about getting the car to be reliable. So far, in the last 2 events we've had no problems with the car. So we're very happy the team has done a great job to give us a fast car and also a reliable car. So we continue testing. There's one more round. We try to do as much mileage as possible, and then hopefully S1K is smooth sailing like this.
Amazing. Now, I'm so happy to see you guys up on the podium. Before I let you go, any final advice for our younger drivers out there? Of course, we want to strive to get them on our Petronas Sepang International tracks as well. A few advices for them.
Yeah, as you can see, the SP2 category is a great platform. I think look how close the racing is. They're fighting all the way to the last lap even. It's a great series, and I think go-kart drivers from the national series can look into this as a step up to find a small little bit of, let's say, a career in touring car racing in Malaysia. So hopefully we get to see more young drivers come in, and then we'll try to do our best to stay in front.
Now that is definitely a challenge from Aaron Lim. Congratulations once again to the HMRT team. Back to Nick and Jay for the rollout.
Certainly fantastic words from our winners. And now, with all the cars firmly in Park Ferme, about to get scrutinized, this is how it ended up in MTC. Aaron Lim and Avia Baha, perfect. Laiwi Singh and Faris Fauzi, also perfect. HMRT, perfect. Fazil Alang and Hendra Adiputra in third. Papaya Pay Racing also in fourth. Kenwoon Russell Tan ended up in fifth, and Limmy Chok and Ng Wheeling from Secudo X 2 laps back in sixth, but all finishes.
In the MT2G, Bay Racing takes the plaudits, finishing ahead of Jonathan Z. Kwek Kian Wee, who did really well to find that momentum to get past the Modern Racing team, who finished in third. Sokudo in fourth, Mark Darwin, Luke Anton Neto in fifth, Bay Racing in sixth, Hakimi and Asfa in seventh, ST Powered Private Limited in eighth, Empire M in ninth place, Skiron Racing in 10th.
And in 11th, Tunes Motorworks, 12th, Motul Art, 13th, KGIA, 14th, Secudo X, 15th, Morgan Team, 16th, Knight Racing, Nisa Racing in 17th, SK Garage Racing with Tawalanwa, that's 23 laps completed in 18th, so these are all the DNFs, and then Morgan Team for Chan and Low in 19th.
And in the MT2V, Parajun and Brandon holding the flag high for DV Motorsports, finishing in top spot ahead of Kuras Motorsport, Mark Chu, Kenny Chan, Lee Chiwa, Lester Lian, taking home yet another podium finish. Daniel Rain Ui, Justin To in fourth, 91R in fifth, Motul R in sixth, Axel Sports only managing a 7th place, Divyesh and Harkish in eighth, R-Works in ninth.
And of course, they were 10 laps, 21 laps back. So this is what it looked like over the 300 kilometers. Good start from all the MTCs. They would race off at their own pace, and of course MT2G and MT2V had a slightly more complicated start. It was under investigation at times, but in the end resulted in at least everybody getting away. The usual battles then took to the 15 corners, but this was the most high-profile absentee, that number 19 championship-leading car for DV Motorsports, having to come in very, very early. Their sister car, the 190 car, took the lead in the end and never really relinquished it. Through both pit windows, the Honda Malaysia Racing team were just impeccable, and even Papaya Racing team, once they realized that it would be a consolidation of third spot, they went about that task very promptly and came through as a solid third place. But this was the big battle at the end. Unlucky for Daniel Renoy and Justin in that battle. They weren't really supposed to be there. And that was the night racing team that was also 13th in class when they stopped. Those were the only two DNFs that we saw. In the end, a big battle between Johnny Z and Ali Rahimi, but it would be that 27 car that comes through faultless, absolutely flawless, in fact, over the afternoon. And that brings us to the end of our coverage of the 300-kilometer races here in round 3 of the MTCC Championship 2026. Thanks, Nick Anil, for joining me in the commentary box. Thanks to you guys for watching us as well. And don't forget to catch round 4. It is coming up very, very soon. From everyone here in the commentary box, it's goodbye.